ERA.
Ricky Weeks gets it started. Ortiz with ball 1 Weeks. Begins the day at 261 with 3 homers and 8 runs batted in. He is 3 for 11 in this series. Hit a home run Friday night. Brewers are now 8-9. Ortiz sinks that one, gets a strike call from Chris Tiller, and the count runs to 1-1. Russ a winner over the Dodgers Tuesday, 8-5 with 5 innings of work, giving up 3 hits, 3 runs, walking 5, fanning 2. He threw 116 pitches in the win Tuesday night. Curveball is hit to right center. A looping fly ball hit for Ricky Weeks to lead it off, delivered by Hunter Pence.
We'll show you the Astros defensively this afternoon as the homestand wraps up. The outfield looks the same. Carlos Lee in left, Michael Bourne in center. My, what a catch he made last night. Hunter Pence in right. Plum's at third today. Tejada at short. Keppinger gets a start at second. Puma's at first. And Pudge catches Russ Ortiz.
Craig Counsell is in the box, 38 years old. Playing shortstop today, hitting .250. He has good career numbers against Russ Ortiz. So delivers ball 1.
Ball 1 just a little bit right down the middle.
Counsell 9 for 21 against Ortiz. So we have really been having some questions about some ball and strike calls on this, just about this entire homestand. Players were really going at the home plate umpire last night. Mike DeMuro, 2 ejections for the Astros, Pudge Rodriguez and Cecil Cooper.
Well, I'm guessing, is this Chris Tiller's first ever major league game behind home plate?
I think
he
so.
just got called up for this series, so he's got to be a little nervous. We got to cut him a little slack.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Dale Scott is the crew chief, Jerry Meals and Mike DeMuro.
Well, at least give him 2 or 3 that we don't like before we start harping on him.
Counsell's 1 for 1 in this series, a pinch hit. Yeah, he deserves that. It's not an easy job. Runner going. Throw from Pudge. Tagged by Miguel Tejada. In time. Weeks caught stealing for a big lift for Ortiz.
Pudge can still throw it. There's the break. Ortiz fairly slow to home plate, and that's why they're going, but not even close at second base. Got a good fastball to handle, did Pudge, and he threw a tracer.
That's the 3rd runner he's thrown out trying to steal. The count 2-1. And a good fastball there. Takes it to 2-2. Let's see that play again.
Now he's shifting his weight as he catches the ball. He's got in great position, had a perfect pitch to handle.
Yeah, that was a good replay to illustrate how he did that. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Braun is on deck. That's to right field. Hunter Pence waiting for it. Didn't really get the good part of the bat on it. 2 outs. Caught stealing like that can really provide a lift, can it, early in the ball game for a starting pitcher?
Well, yeah, because usually you're a little bit not out of sorts, but you're just trying to find your way in the first inning, get used to the mound, get used to the strike zone, make that transition from the bullpen mound to the game mound, and leadoff man reaches, and you think, oh, good grief, here we go. And the catcher makes a good strong throw like that and helps you clean it up.
Ryan Braun had quite a game last night. 4 hits. He is 5 for 9 with 2 runs batted in this series. 359, 4 homers, 13 driven in for Braun. He backs away from that one. Ball 1 a little bit high. He's had 23 hits already this year, tied for 5th in the league.
Takes that real slow practice swing. Exaggerates the top hand. I guess that's what he's doing. Telling him to make sure you get that top hand, get on top of the ball.
Ortiz brings that one into the zone, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. The Astros have been getting a solid 6 innings from their starters. They got 6 from Mike Hampton last night.
Two-seamer has a little tailing action. His natural fastball is a cutter.
Each of the last 4 Astros starters has gone 6 innings. Russ was saying last night, JD, that despite the fact that he missed all of last year, his stuff feels about the same. His command feels about the same to him. Does not really get that sensation that he is struggling to recapture the stuff that he had before the Tommy John surgery in 07.
Yeah, I would think as long as you feel fine physically.
And that helps too. Line drive to shortstop for the third out. No runs a hit, nobody left. Astros come up against Manny Parra in a moment. Coming up with this starting lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. A different look for the Astros. It's Michael Bourne leading off today in center field. Caswell Batsui getting a rest. Got Keppinger's the starter at second base. Batting in the 2-hole. Lance Berkman at first base. Carlos Lee the cleanup man in left field. Miguel Tejada shortstop. Hunter Pence right field. Ivan Pudge Rodriguez catcher. Jeff Blum third base. Russ Ortiz pitcher.
Manny Parra, the young left-hander, works for the Brewers today. So far, it's been a rocky ride for him. 3 starts. He's lost all 3 of them. Has an ERA of 8.16. Control has been an issue. 9 walks in 14 1/3 innings. He does have very good stuff.
Michael Bourne bunts. Parra with a backhanded play. 1 pitch, 1 out. Michael on a 6-game hitting streak. Trying to get one by the pitcher. It didn't work.
Here's the defense for the Brewers this afternoon. Ryan Braun in left, Cameron in center. Nelson gets the start in right. Craig Counsell for Billy Hall in third. Hardy Weeks in fielder. Parra pitches. Jason Kendall, the veteran, is the backstop. The hind catcher.
Jeff Keppinger getting the call at second base today to give Matsui a game off. 435, 1 homer, 2 runs batted in. He is sizzling at 10 for 23. And Roman Mejias share that club record of hitting in their first 8 games with the Houston club throughout its history. There's strike 1 to Keppinger. And it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Keppinger is 0 for 4 in his career against Manny Parra.
They mentioned Parra with some control problems this year, and depending on who you speak to with the Brewers, you get different slants on it.
Out into right center field. Mike Cameron has a long run for this one. Keppinger into second with a 1-out double, his 3rd of the year. He's really been something. He can sit for 4 or 5 days and bang out a line drive somewhere.
It's a good, solid line drive hitter. Real quiet with the hands. That's a good pitch, too. That's a changeup down and away. If you try to pull it, you're probably out. Good trade, Eddie.
A very nice deal to get him from Cincinnati for Drew Sutton. He's aboard for Lance Berkman now. Frustrating homestand for Lance, taking ball 1. Batting average 177, but he is 5 for 11 in his career against Parra. Lance is hitting 133 for this homestand, 4 hits and 30 at bats, 2 of them home runs. And it's 2-0, and the strikeouts have been mounting, and he's questioning the calls as he was in the 7th inning last night. But Mitch Stetter came in, and I had to agree with Lance on that one. Sidewinding left-hander. Brought a ball in from first base side. It was called strike 3. I didn't think it ever crossed the plate. 2 balls and a strike, but in baseball you move on.
Yeah, when he's going good, he doesn't miss that pitch.
Nope.
Scuffling. Anyway, the Parra, talking about his control issues, and some feel he just nibbles too much, doesn't trust his stuff, and others will tell you it's just he gets bad mechanics and gets out of sorts. But they like his stuff. They think he's got the repertoire and a good enough fastball to be a top of the rotation type guy.
Jason Kendall very high on Parra and Giovanni Gallardo. 3-2 now.
Fastball, cutter, curveball. He throws both a straight changeup and a split finger pitch. And that one's a little dubious as well.
Workman is 0 for his last 11 now. Parra last year was 10-8 with a 4.39 ERA, making 29 starts and 3 relief appearances. 26th round draft choice, a draft and follow pick in 2001 from Sacramento, California. First came to the big leagues in 07 with Milwaukee. That year for Nashville, he pitched a perfect game at Round Rock. Carlos Lee's on deck with the count holding at 3-2 for Manny Parra. Well, the Brewers, even though they lost Ben Sheets and CC Sabathia, think that Gallardo and Parra and the others in their rotation, they can really put together a good season this year. Kendall very high on their stuff. Bouncer right side. Fielder takes the 2-hopper to the bag. 2 outs, Keppinger to third.
Well, Rockets are on my 20 tonight as they host the Portland Trail Blazers. 7:30 is game time. Good luck to the Rockets.
Be nice to go up 3-1. Carlos Lee has had the home run swing. He's had 4 homers in his last 6 games. He is 6 for 10 with a bomb against Manny Parra. Leads the club now with 5 homers and 14 runs batted in. Tejada's on deck. Breaking pitch stays up for ball 1. Carlos came out of the game with Achilles tendon problems. And then hit a home run last night after the Friday night home run. Alzabak, he got that Achilles taped. And last night responded with the second home run swing in this series.
Jeff Suppan, normally with very good command, made a mistake there and left it out over the plate for him. And if you got a little tender Achilles, it's always better to jog than to run.
Parra missing, goes to 2-1 in the count. Parra with that 8.16 ERA, trying to get his season started. 0-3 in his first 3 starts.
Yeah, when you're fashioning an 8.16 ERA, you don't read the morning paper. You don't look at the scoreboard when you go out to warm up and they got today's starting pitchers and your numbers up there. You don't even look.
Might even be afraid to go online. Somebody might send one of those pop-up ads at you with your record on it.
He's crawling a cave.
Up the right field line, it's slicing and foul.
Yeah, it's not good for your self-esteem. I remember I had to start in Anaheim one time when I was with the Twins, and I was pitching horribly, and I was sitting in the dugout waiting to go out and do my warm-ups, and there was a security cop in the dugout, and he looks up at the out-of-town scoreboard, and me, and I can't remember who was going for the Angels, but he was struggling too, and he was like, "Oh God, this game's going to last forever." I said, "That would be me, sir."
Bouncer shortstop. And there's the play by Counsell for out number 3. No runs a hit. Runner stranded at third. No score after 1.
During the week of May 6th through the 10th, the Astros are going to celebrate Pink in the Park to raise awareness and funds for breast cancer research. On Thursday, May 7th, the first 10,000 women 16 years of age and older will receive a Pink in the Park cap courtesy of Farmers Insurance. So come out to the ballpark, root for the home team, support a great cause. For more information on all the week's events, visit Astros.com. That's Pink in the Park all week long.
All right, he's celebrating early with that pink shirt. No score as Prince Fielder steps up to lead off the second inning. Thus Ortiz delivers, and it's ball one to Fielder, who last night hit his second and third home runs of the season. Solo shot in the fourth, a 2-run jack in the ninth inning that gave the Brewers the lead. 233, 3 homers, 14 driven in. 1 ball, 1 strike to the princely one. He's only 24.
Got a chance to be king someday.
He's already ripped 117 home runs at age 24. In tight, and it's 2 balls and a strike with Cameron and Nelson to follow. Prince has now hit 8 home runs here at Minute Maid Park in his career, has a career average over 300 in this ballpark. Three balls and 1 strike. Brewers are 7th in the National League in runs scored. They've really played well against the Astros, beginning with the 07 season, 23-12 against Houston from that point up to the present. Leadoff walk. Fielder drawing his 12th base on balls of the year.
Yeah, the Astros used to bully the Brewers around. Used to beat the daylights out of them. Not so much anymore. Obviously a much improved team. Winning the wild card last year. Very talented lineup. Questions in the rotation and the bullpen. It's still a very difficult lineup to pitch to.
Mike Cameron has found baseball to be a contact sport this weekend. .310 batting average, 4 homers, 9 runs batted in. He's 3 for 8 at the plate this weekend. Cameron looks at ball 1. Had that horrible collision at home plate with Humberto Quintero Friday night. And then last night he went into Kazuo Matsui to break up a double play.
May have been the biggest play of the game. For all the stuff that happened afterward, if not for that play, Billy Hall doesn't bat, and Hall hit a game-tying 3-run homer.
That was in the 6th. 1 ball and 1 strike to Mike Cameron, 36-year-old outfielder who hit 25 homers for the Brewers last year. He came up with the White Sox. He's from LaGrange, Georgia. His face has been reconstructed after that horrendous collision with Carlos Beltran in New York when they were both playing the outfield. 2-1. Jeff Blum's a former teammate of Cameron, and Jeff was telling us, oh yeah, he's got a metal plate there where his cheekbone was. He said, I've felt it before, and it is really something.
Really? How does he get through airport security?
Probably doesn't.
Some kind of paperwork.
Yeah. It's 3-1, and Humberto Quintero on the DL after this collision Friday night. Three balls and a strike to Cameron now. Fouls it back. He had a pitch to go for there. It's a full count.
And Mike Cameron, a good triple fastball hitter. That's his game plan. Get into those 2-0, 3-1 counts, sit fastball. He strikes out a lot, so you can't fool him. But he's got plenty of juice in that bat.
Ortiz, after missing all of last season, came through the spring well. Doing all the things he wanted to do, changing speeds, establishing the fastball. His velocity, he says, is right at where it was before the Tommy John surgery. Hammered on a line to the left field corner. And that's a fair ball deep into the corner for Carlos Lee. Fielder around third. He's being sent home. And he will score. An RBI double by Cameron. 1-0 Brewers as Cameron picks up double number 6 of the year and his 10th run batted in.
And last time out, Russ walked 5. He managed to win that ball game. Worked 5 innings, allowed 3 runs. The walk bites him here. The leadoff walk to Fielder. This ball must have just died in that corner. Didn't kick out for Carlos at all. And it just settles there under the padding. So he had to go all the way there to get it, and that allowed Prince to score. Wondering if he touched third base with that turn. When I first saw it in my naked eye, I thought it might have been close.
Well, it doesn't cost anything to appeal. Let's see it. Yeah, he got it.
You get it? Couldn't tell.
Looked like he got it with his toe. But it's a free appeal, and there's always a chance. At the umpire at third, Mike DeMuro. Might call him out for missing the bag. Well, the home plate
they're
umpire.
going to appeal. Yeah, they're going to appeal.
Chris Tiller had rotated, so let's see what he thought, because DeMuro had to go into the corner. So they will appeal, and Tiller makes the call, and he says safe. So he was doing his job. He had rotated to third base, and he thought that Fielder touched third.
And he's right there.
He was right on it. Now Brad Nelson bats. Fly ball heads for left center field. Carlos Lee in position. Cameron is tagging. Lee has a short throw to make, and he'll hold. 1 out.
You know, and frankly, if you're the umpire there on that appeal play, unless a guy blatantly misses the base, you're not going to ring him up. And if you may have some doubt, I'm not sure if you got it, think you did, then you're not going to call him out. It's got to be pretty obvious, at least for me if I'm umpiring, because what I'm looking for is an advantage gained when I'm trying to make a ruling like that, like a guy leaving early on a tag play, or if a guy clearly misses the base, then you have no choice but to call it. But when it's real close, if you're not sure, I think you got to call him safe.
Bill Hall bats now. Hall had a big night last night. There's ball 1 to him. 278 for the season now. 2 homers. And with runners on, he's hit .333. Hall was 3 for 6 last night. Hit the 3-run homer off Mike Hampton in the 6th to tie it, and then had an 8th inning run producing single. He also stole a base.
They're giving him the entire right side of the infield. Keppinger holding the base runner there at second.
Takes ball 2, and it's 2-0. They really are.
Yeah, that's more about the scouting report on Billy Hall than it is worrying about Mike Cameron. Keppinger just taking advantage of the fact that they're playing Hall as a strong pull hitter to kind of tiptoe in there behind Cameron and tighten his lead up a little bit.
Pickoff play goes into center field. Cameron gets up and heads for third base. And that'll be a throwing error for Russ Ortiz.
I would say the ratio of errors to successful pickoffs on the bases is about 25 to 1. That's why a lot of times you'll see a pitcher just turn and not bother throwing. And no matter how much you practice that stuff in spring training, once you get into game situations, it's a little tougher to execute.
Now the infielders come in with a runner at third and 1 out and a 2-0 count. Strike on the edge for Russ Ortiz, makes it 2-1. Jason Kendall is on deck. Hall missed the first month of spring training with a partial tear of his left calf. Suffered that injury doing his own conditioning back in February. Here's Cameron on third again with a possible play at the plate. Fly ball goes to right field, shallow. Hunter Pence moving in toward the line. Lance Berkman makes the catch, And Cameron, kind of odd that he didn't tag up.
He was coming down the line in case that ball dropped. He wanted to be in position to score if the ball dropped. And Brad Fisher having a chat with him saying, you know what, you probably could have been a little closer to the bag and still scored if it fell.
Yeah.
I thought Hunter was going to come in and get this play.
Yeah.
It's an easier play for him.
Yeah, you've got the first baseman making the over-the-shoulder catch. That's the way Cameron played it.
Yeah, probably not deep enough to tag in advance there.
Jason Kendall's the batter. Keppinger's on the outfield grass for him. He hits a lot of balls to the right side. There's ball one. 152 for Kendall in a slow start. No homers, 5 runs batted in. Career 300 against Houston, though. He's 18 hits away from 2,000 for his career. On a play like that one that Berkman caught, if you were Mike Cameron, if you knew Berkman was going to catch it, you'd probably play it differently, but he didn't know it was going to develop that way. And it looked like it might drop, so he was ready to advance toward the plate if it wasn't caught. Hit by the pitch. And now Manny Parra bats.
Jason Kendall's really good at that. He's been hit by a lot of pitches over the years.
More than 230 times in his career.
Stays healthy, he's going to make a run at Pudge. It's kind of ironic. Stacy keeps getting hit. I don't know how he's going to stay healthy. Sooner or later, something's going to break.
Yeah. That's number 2 of this season, 233 for his career.
That guy's tough.
Manny Parra bats next. He's the active leader by a long shot. Carlos Delgado probably won't put on a big rush to try to catch him. Parra takes ball 1. He is 0 for 5 as a batter. Well, you hear a lot of players state their goals in spring training, but it's usually not, I'm going to try to get hit 30 times by pitches this year. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, you know, if I come to the park ready to play every day and I stay healthy, I've got a pretty good chance to get drilled 40 times. That's my goal.
All I have to do is stay in the lineup. Chris Johnson, by the way, was hit by a pitch in the Astros Round Rock Farm Club's 2nd game, and he now has a fracture. 1 ball, 2 strikes, so he's going to miss a couple more weeks as a promising third baseman for the Astros. Really opened some eyes in spring training.
Parra 0 for 5 so far this year, but handles the bat pretty well.
Fouls away the breaking pitch. Our Jack in the Box standings every Sunday gets you caught up with the Astros minor league team, showing you Round Rock 5-12, Corpus Christi's 8-7, Lancaster 6-11. Lexington has a winning record of 10-7. Tri-City will start June 20th, and Greenville June 26th. Round Rock lost to Memphis last night 8-4. Jose Capitan took that loss. Swing and a miss, and Parra strikes out. That's number 1 for Russ Ortiz. 1 run scoring on 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 left. It is 1-0 Brewers. the second coming up later in our Dodge Grab Live feature. Russ Ortiz tells us about his pets. Stay tuned. Brewers getting a second inning run. Fielder walk, came home on the Cameron double. And now Manny Parra will face Tejada, Pence, and Rodriguez in his second inning. Parra lost 11-4 Tuesday at Philadelphia, giving up 7 hits and 5 runs in 4 innings. He has had one good start, but he lost that one 6-1 against Cincinnati on the 14th, giving up 3 hits and 3 runs in 6 innings.
And a lot of base runners, 9 walks, 16 hits allowed in 14 1/3 innings coming into this one.
Brewers pitching has come around. They've had 9 quality starts in the last 10 games with a 3.16 ERA during that time. Miguel Tejada looks at strike one. 319 for Miggy, no homers and 4 runs batted in. The bat has been quieted by the Brewers pitching staff this series. He's 0 for 9. Grounder third, Bill Hall. 1 down for Manny Parra. Hunter Pence will follow. Brandon Backey worked out before the game today. He'll be headed out on a rehab assignment to Round Rock tomorrow. The target is 70 to 75 pitches. Brian Moeller's next minor league rehab start will be Wednesday at AA Midland for Corpus Christi. Hunter Pence, 317 at home with 3 homers. In the dirt for ball 1. Pudge Rodriguez on deck. Hunter's 2 for 8 in this series. Takes that curveball for ball 2. The Astros 13th in runs scored in the National League. They've been outscored by their opponents by 20 runs. Fouled away, 2-1. They had it going last night, scoring 8 runs on 10 hits, but they stranded 13 runners. Team batting average now .211 with runners in scoring position. 3-1.
You know, that was last night. There were some positive signs. Pretty good night offensively. And a lot of times those runners left on, statistics can be overplayed because pitchers will pitch around certain hitters and you'll have one shot. You might intentionally walk somebody and work away around another hitter, and you've got that one bases loaded at bat. So you end up leaving 3 on, but didn't have many chances. Just their biggest problem has been consistency, as it was last year. Just, have a breakout game every now and then.
Foul ball.
But, too many times getting shut down, 3 runs or less, typically not going to get it done.
Well, they led 3-0 after 4 last night, 4-1 after 5, and 7-6 after 8. But in the 9th inning, the Brewers grabbed the lead with 2 on the Fielder homer, and then the Astros tied it in the bottom of the 9th with an unearned run, and it was 9-8 Milwaukee in the 11th final. Still 3-2 with Pudge Rodriguez waiting next. Doug Brocail is off the disabled list today, available for 7th inning work. Jeff Fulcino was optioned back to Round Rock. Hunter Pence has a 1-out walk, makes his 8th base on balls of the year. He's 4 for 4 in steals. Pudge Rodriguez checks down with Dave Clark before getting in with a .228 average, 1 homer and 6 runs batted in. Pudge was tossed out of last night's game for arguing balls and strikes with Mike DeMuro after going 0 for 2 with a walk. And he came off the bench when Humberto Quintero left with the injury Friday night. So he's had 2 partial games in the series. Pudge 0 for 4 in this series. And he has started now 16 of the Astros' 19 games behind the plate. hefty workload for the man who's third on the all-time games caught list. Pence is going. Throw from Kendall, bounces, and Pence is called out on the tag by Ricky Weeks. Kendall throwing out only his second of the year.
Parra using the slide step there, got rid of that ball in a hurry. And Weeks does a nice job handling that hop and then applying the tag so close. Maybe that foot got in there. We'll take another peek. I think they got him. Well, boy, flip a coin.
On the 1-0 pitch, it's fouled, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Kendall 2 for 14 in throwing out base runners. That's the first time Hunter's been caught this year. He was saying before the game that he's going to be running more. Jeff Blum on deck.
It'll be hard to run on Parra, though, with that quick delivery.
Yeah.
Make you think twice.
Jerry Meals, the umpire at second base, had a close call to make on that one. Strikeout for Parra, and that ends the Astros' second. He faced only 3 batters and maintained a 1-0 lead. Walked and came home on a Cameron double. Now in inning number 3, as these fans watch, it's Russ Ortiz against Weeks, Counsell, and Braun for the Brewers. Weeks single to right center, and then he was thrown out trying to steal. Weeks did some work with his stance in spring training. Fouls that breaking pitch for strike 1. Weeks has walked only once this season. 5 of his 14 home runs last year were home runs leading off ball games. He scored runs in 17 straight games last season to tie a National League record. Led the nation in hitting 2 years in a row at Southern University in Louisiana. That pitch apparently a little high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, maybe a little in.
Okay.
Now Weeks does a pretty good job for the Brewers, although he doesn't walk a lot. But, it's a lot of doubles, steal bases for you.
Bounce to short. Otta takes care of that one. Out number 1.
Well, the Astros have once again teamed up with 94.5 The Buzz for the annual college night. It takes place Friday, May 8th. The Astros take on the Padres. Free live music from 3 Fantastic. That's before the game in the new 5-7 patio. and there you will enjoy food and drink specials. College students will get discounted tickets with a valid student ID. For more information, visit Astros.com.
Craig Counsell looks at ball one. He had a fly ball to right in the first inning. His father worked for the Brewers. He was their director of community relations. Craig, born in South Bend, Indiana, went to Notre Dame.
So that's how he got on the Brewers. It's all political. So you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's right, JD. One ball and one strike.
That's actually one of the great things about professional baseball. It's not political at all.
No,
it's not. It's how good you are. I mean, it's funny because I talked to a lot of players out of the game, and I didn't know the right people. No.
Carlos Lee in, makes a running play, 2 down.
I hate to break it to you, you just weren't good enough.
I think with a marginal player, if he's not a cooperative person, if he's the combative sort, not known as a coachable guy, that perhaps it might swing against him if it's a close call between him and another guy. But there are a lot of things to factor
when it comes down to making those final roster decisions, if the guys are similar, you're probably going to take a guy who's you feel like he's got a better chance of being a good teammate. But ultimately, if you can make some kind of a decision based on ability, that's going to carry the day.
Strike to Braun. You saw Greg Lucas down there. He's tweeting again today. Braun had a line drive to shortstop back in the first inning. Then again, there have been a lot of guys who aren't exactly model citizens, but they could play, and they keep their jobs because they could play.
Yeah, they might move around some because they wear people out, but they keep finding jobs because they can still throw 94 miles an hour, or they can still hit a ball 400 feet.
1 ball, 1 strike. Russ Ortiz from Encino, California, in quest to win number 112 of his career. Foul back, and it's 1-2. Russ is 4-3 against Milwaukee with a 5.23 earned run average. This is his second start as an Astro at Minute Maid Park, but he did well here as a visiting pitcher. In his career, he is 5-0 at Minute Maid and 4-3 overall against the Brewers. This is the 10th time he's faced them as a starting pitcher. Grounder left side. Jeff Blum to his left. In the third, it goes quickly for Russ Ortiz, and it's 1-0 Milwaukee. Baseball on Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by Aflac, by Dodge, and by Southwest Airlines. Spring in Houston. It's a wonderful time of year here. And we had some great nights with that roof open earlier on this homestand. It's been closed for this weekend with strong winds today. 1-0 Milwaukee, bottom of the third. Jeff Blum. Happy birthday, Jeff Blum. He's 36 years old today.
Got to get a knock down.
He's had a few knocks this year to the tune of a .320 batting average. He only has one at bat right-handed, though. Had very few this spring, he said, batting right-handed. Marcus Aurelius had his birthday. William Shakespeare.
No, Scott. Scotty, what's a
Scotty was born in 55. He is young.
54 years of age today, huh?
Young man. 2 balls and a strike to Jeff Blum.
Still can't shoot his age then. It's going to take a while.
Roller to third. Bill Hall takes care of out number 1. He made an error last night that was very costly in the 9th inning, allowing the Astros to then score the tying run. Russ Ortiz can swing the bat. Career batting average over 200. Mike Hampton got an RBI single in last night's game. Ortiz is 1 for 5 and he has an RBI. Hampton, Ortiz, and Felipe Paulino are the 3 Astros pitchers who have reached the hit column so far. Michael Bourne on deck. It's 1-1. Ortiz got the 100th hit of his career in his last start.
It's interesting, and you see it often with a pitcher. When the opposing pitcher gets in the batter's box, their tempo becomes quicker, their delivery free and easy. I mean, he threw his best fastball of the game so far to Russ. And there's one even better at 96 miles an hour.
Wow, I didn't know he threw that hard.
Well, he hasn't up until this point. And I think what happens when he's got quote unquote real hitters in there, maybe he's thinking a little bit too much, trying to guide the ball instead of turning it loose.
Well, you and Bob Uecker were talking about him having a good fastball last night. 3 balls, 2 strikes for Manny Parra.
And Uecker was alluding to the fact that he tends to nibble. He just threw the opposing pitcher a 2-2 changeup, and now he just walked him. That's not good. No, that's the thing. And again, Russ handles the bat okay, but that's a situation where you're just trying to pump one right down the middle.
Bob Uecker talking over that very thing right now, perhaps. He's looking extremely dapper on travel day for the Brewers. They're going home. At the end of a nice road trip, they're 5-3 on this trip.
And Uecker revealing last night that they're going to make another major league movie, and his character Harry Doyle will reappear.
That's right. We got a scoop from him on that last night. Michael Bourne looks at ball 1. He tried to bunt his way on, but Manny Parra made the play on him. Michael's had a good series, though. Has a .371 on base average for the season. And he gets a hit to the left side. He's been doing more of that with the drawn-in third baseman unable to get that ball to his left.
Michael Bourne's play has probably been the best story so far here early in 2009. What he's doing, the patience he's showing at the plate, the game plan at the plate. He's seeing a lot of pitches. He's hitting it the other way. He hit the big home run last night. And unfortunately for him last night, the club lost because he had a heck of a night. Double home run, made that spectacular catch in center field.
7-game hitting streak for Michael Bourne. 2 men on for Jeff Keppinger. He doubled to right center in the first. And a low changeup. Ball 1 to Keppinger. Keppinger and Ed Wade, we talked about it earlier, referred to his career stats of walks compared to strikeouts. He's had more walks than strikeouts in every major league season. So far this season, 3 walks, no strikeouts. So he makes the pitcher throw strikes, and that is kind of an issue for Manny Parra today.
Yeah, I would imagine, as Sean Berry went over Parra with his hitters, that was one of the things he emphasized. Hey, look, make sure you get this guy in the zone. Don't do him any favors. He can really struggle with his command.
Keppinger fouls it back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Keppinger will be headed along with his Astros teammates for Cincinnati after this game, where he'll take on his former teammates tomorrow night. Roy Oswalt and Johnny Cueto. That'll be 5:30 for Astros Live. 6 o'clock for the broadcast tomorrow night. Foul back. It's 1-2.
Reds just dropped a 6 spot on the Braves in the bottom of the 5th. They lead 8-0. Jay Bruce has hit a pair of home runs. So it looks like he's starting to round into form after some early struggles.
Sure does. Atlanta has won 3 in a row. Braves were hoping to sweep that series when they took the field today. Keppinger does strike out, though, for the first time. That's number 2 for Manny Parra.
Throws both a changeup and a split finger pitch. I think that was the splitter. Whatever it was, good downward action. And in a good spot with 2 strikes.
Lance Berkman worked the count full before bouncing out the Prince fielder. Berkman's hit .333 in his career against the Brewers. Lined, it's off the glove of Hall and on into center field off the glove of Weeks. And here's Ortiz around to score and Bourne into third. So Weeks couldn't hold on to that hot line drive hit by Berkman. And it went on into center field. Weeks has made 3 errors this year already. And he knocked down a line drive the other night and then got the out on it. So Ortiz comes around to score and tie the game 1-1.
A ball really well struck, but it's a ball you expect to be caught when it's right at the infield. I don't know if maybe the umpire screened him a little bit.
Bourne went to third.
Probably be ruled a base hit because it was so sharply hit.
Now we're still waiting, and ball 1 almost gets by to Carlos Lee.
The umpire might have been a little bit of an issue there.
And still no ruling on that one. Lee grounded out to shortstop on a 3-2 count first time up. It's ruled an error on Weeks. That's his 4th of the year. Fly ball, deep left field. Carlos Lee unloads. It stays in play with Bourne scoring. Stop sign for Bookman at third. The Astros lead 2-1 on a run-producing double by El Caballo, or single by El Caballo. That's his 15th run batted in. He's looking out there at where that ball hit.
And he got through that one pretty well. He's taking a good long look at it. Thought he'd knocked it out of here, and it just came up a little bit short. Well played by Ryan Braun. And a combination of Carlos kind of eyeballing that one and nursing that Achilles a little bit. He settles for a single.
And Maka's club now has fallen behind 2-1. Manny Parra has thrown 50 pitches, 30 of them strikes. Miguel Tejada is next. Tejada grounded to third in the 2nd inning. Hunter Pence on deck. The runs are unearned because of the error on Weeks. Inside ball 1. Phillies lead the Marlins 9-1 in the top of the 8th at Florida with Jamie Moyer on the mound. Phillies are trying to sweep that series. Florida has lost 5 in a row. Broken bat. It goes to Hall. Hall to Weeks for the force play on Lee. The Astros come up with a couple of unearned runs. On 2 hits, 1 error, 2 men left. It's 2-1 Houston after 3. 1. Houston leading Milwaukee. Wisconsin-born Astros fan.
She shares a birthday with Jeff Blum and Carol Burnett.
Aflac trivia time. Who was the last Astro to hit an inside the park home run? We'll try to recall that bit of information while Prince Fielder leads it off in the 4th. 2-1 Astros. Fielder walked and scored in the 2nd. He lets the bat fly, and it's strike 1. Let's see. The last Astro to hit an inside the park home run.
Tim Bogar.
We have the answer, and I cannot reveal it to you because Phil Boudreau just showed me who it was. Been a few years. 1 ball and 1 strike for Russ Ortiz.
Who was the last Astro to hit 450 career home runs in Japan? Tuffy Rhodes. He just reached that milestone.
Did he?
Yep.
Good for Tuffy. Jeff Blum to his left. 1 out for Russ Ortiz. 450.
Now, 13 years Tuffy Rhodes has been knocking balls over the fences in Japan.
We would have considered that unlikely when he first came to the big leagues. Highly unlikely.
Yeah.
Did not look like a home run hitter.
He should write a book.
He might. 1 out, and it's Mike Cameron. He had the RBI double to left field in the 2nd inning. That could be an interesting book. Charlie Manuel, the Philly skipper, was a slugger in Japan. Here's ball 1.
Yeah, there's a lot of players who had modest or no success in the major leagues have gone over to Japan and done quite well for themselves. Made a lot of money.
Strike, and it's 1-1.
Randy Bass, a big career over there. Rustis Estrada did really well in Japan.
Tom Selleck. Fly ball left center field. That's well hit. And that shoots to the 404 sign. Stays in play. Michael Bourne drops it. And now Cameron will hold at second base. He was looking for an opening, but checked in with a double, and that's 2 for him today.
Yeah, Michael opted to barehand that ball off the wall and mishandled it. And had Cameron been going hard the whole way, he may have been able to get to third base here. But I think Cameron was just, in his mind, he settled on a double and wasn't able to make anything out of that little bobble out there. And there he decides to try to pick it back up.
Yeah.
It's too late. Can eat up some turf with those strides, can't he? My goodness.
He just long-legged. Brad Nelson making his first major league start as Cameron on at second, as he did in the 2nd inning when he hit a fly ball to left. Twins are trailing the Indians 4-2 in Cleveland, top of the 7th inning.
It's like the King of Queens in a baseball uniform.
He does.
Paul Blart, baseball player.
Brad Nelson, a 4th round pick in 01, listed at 6'2", 253. He got in just a little bit of time with Milwaukee last year, hit 18 homers at AAA Nashville.
Well, we saw the Astros when he came in last night pitching effectively upstairs to him. He's got that standard left-handed slugger's profile. The uppercut swing looks like he'll handle the low ball pretty well, and he has a little bit of a hole up and in.
Too far up, and it's 3-0. Well, Russ Ortiz.
Yeah, the problem with that is that the pitch you're trying to make is usually not a strike. So you have to find some way to get ahead of him. Throw one down and away on the corner, or drop a curveball in there for strike 1, and then you start going to work on that hole. Because once you got a strike on the hitter, they're more inclined to chase.
Cameron, a little jumpy off second base there. He attracted the attention of Russ Ortiz. There's some stutter stepping. been a very good base stealer in his career. Strike makes it 3-1 to Brad Nelson. Cameron needs 5 more homers to join the 250-250 club. He has 291 steals. Only 19 players in Major League history have hit at least 250 homers and stolen at least 250 bases. On the ground to Keppinger's left. He fields it in right field and throws accurately to Berkman. Good play. Cameron taking third, 2 outs.
Now playing Nelson to pull, but he still had to range a little bit to his left and turned around in good shape. Good strong throw.
The last Astro to hit an inside the park home run, Affleck is going to tell us, was here not too long ago. Adam Everett in August of '03 against the Mets.
Adam Everett hitting about 300 for the Detroit Tigers right now.
Yes.
Off to a nice start.
Bill Hall popped to Lance Berkman up the right field line.
And as we go down memory lane, talking about former Astros, Everett and Tuffy Rhodes, Mike Lamb, I see, signed a minor league deal with the New York Mets.
Oh, did he?
Yep.
We've been waiting for him to resurface.
He's headed to Florida to kind of get into game shape, and then they'll go to their AAA club.
One ball, one strike. Not sure where Morgan Ensberg is right now. He was in camp with Tampa Bay. And he got released. It looked like for a time he was headed for Durham. But we haven't seen anything further on that. One ball, one strike. It's 2-1. Andy Van Hecken notched his 100th professional win for Corpus Christi last night. Corpus beating Frisco 3-1. The Hooks are 8-7. And Brian Esposito was promoted to AAA Round Rock with J.R. Tolles coming up here. He's a catcher. 3 balls, 1 strike now. Jason Castro had a 2-run double last night for Lancaster. And you told us about Kobe Clemens also getting a big hit the night before. Milwaukee's hitting .313 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. And with runners in scoring position period this series, the Brewers 11 for 19 the first 2 games. Strike, 3-2 now. A changeup for Russ Ortiz.
Might have been a hair outside. A lot of 3-2 counts today for both these pitchers. Deep counts anyway. Pretty patient approach for the hitters.
Hall was managed at AAA Indianapolis by Cecil Cooper. Homegrown, 6th round pick in '98 by the Brewers. They have an all homegrown infield. In fact, there's ball 4, and Hall takes a 2-out walk. Second walk for Ortiz. First and second occupied for Jason Kendall now.
I wonder if there's another team that runs out on a daily basis as many players that have come up through their own system as the Brewers.
Good question.
And with that infield and Corey Hart in the outfield, Braun in the outfield.
Well, let's see. The Marlins don't. Ortiz with 63 pitches, 34 strikes. Hit Kendall with a pitch in the second inning. Kendall drove in 49 last year for the Brewers. There's strike 1 with Parra on deck. Last year, Kendall threw out 3 Astros trying to steal in 1 game. .293 career hitter. Now it's 1 ball, 1 strike. The Astros are 4-8 at home. Leaving after this one on a 3-city road trip: Cincinnati, Atlanta, Washington. And when they get back home, they'll be meeting the Cubs in a 2-game series. A lot of people like to get their tickets ahead for those series. 2 balls and a strike. There was a big auto show next door. Did you take that in, JD?
I did not. I didn't get here in time to take in the auto show.
Okay.
I did last year. I was one of the judges last year. I don't really know much about cars, so I wasn't really qualified to judge, but you know, I could pick the one I liked the best. Some real fancy paint jobs out there.
Yeah. Kendall takes that one. And the count runs to 3-1 on Jason Kendall.
If you're working quickly and throwing a lot of strikes, you have a much better chance of getting this called your way. Russ really slowing things down here, very deliberate. Makes it tougher for the umpire to raise that right arm for whatever reason. Makes it tougher on the defenders too out behind you to stay engaged.
Strike, and it's 3-2 now.
That's been the equalizer for Russ, the ability to throw that changeup in fastball counts.
Cameron's at third. Hall across the diamond at first. Hall will be running. Workman throwing behind him. 3-2, 2 outs. Ortiz shaking off the Pudge Rodriguez suggestions. Texas leads at Baltimore 5-4 after 5. Chris Davis and David Murphy have homered. Line drive left field. A hit. They tie the game 2-2. Now Hall turning to third on the RBI single by Kendall. His 6th run batted in. And the number 8 hitter strikes a blow for Milwaukee.
He threw the pitch he wanted to make. They were throwing a 2-seam fastball, trying to get it down. It was down below the knees, and Kendall just went down and got it. Carlos would take a shot at Billy Hall there at third base, and opted not to.
Now it's a pitcher, Manny Parra. He struck out with 2 men on in the 2nd, and now he has that same situation. Runners at first and third, and 2 outs in the 4th inning. The Astros used 5 pitchers last night. The Brewers called on 6. Strike to Parra. Let's see
if Carlos had a shot at Billy Hall at third base. Line drive single to left field with a man on first. You just don't anticipate a runner going first to third there, moving with the swing, and I guess he made the prudent decision to keep another runner out of scoring position.
Hall moving around from one corner to the other. He's running very well between 2nd and 3rd. That pitch for ball 1 evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. Washington 8, the Mets 1. Top of the 7th at New City Field. Jesus Flores hit his 2nd long ball. Austin Kearns number 3 for the Nationals. Parra was strike 2 called on him. 1-2 the count now.
Phillies beating the daylights out of the Marlins 13-1. The Fish really starting to scuffle after being so hot.
Yes. The Phillies could be a game over 500 with a win today. They're 8-8 right now. That's a strikeout of Parra. He couldn't hold back. Number 2 for Ortiz. 1 run, 2 hits, 2 left. And it is 2-2 Brewers and Astros after 3.5.
Here's in Minute Maid Park. Help us pick the top moment in the park's history with our bracket challenge. Go to Astros.com to cast your vote today. And this week you're picking between Brad Ausmus, game-tying home run in the NLDS against the Braves in 05, or the first game in the history of the ballpark. And this particular challenge will wrap up today. The new one will be unveiled tomorrow.
Ooh, the polls are closing soon. Get your vote in. Yeah, it's been quite an era in Astros baseball. New stadium for Jeff Bagwell and company. 2-2 ball game right here, and Cody Ross is pitching right now for Florida as the Phillies are blowing out the Fish 13-1. They've gone with an outfielder doing some pitching now.
Big group from Cheetos here today.
Got a whole section to themselves. Hunter Pence leads it off in the home fourth inning. He walked and then tried to steal and was thrown out in the second inning on a close call at second base. Here's ball one. Pudge Rodriguez on deck. Jeff Blumdo up third in the inning. Cody Ross, a left-handed throwing outfielder on the mound, throwing some breaking stuff for the Florida Marlins. 2 balls, no strikes.
Astros haven't had a position player pitch in a long time.
Oh, it's been a while. I was trying to remember the last guy who did that.
It's you're always worried about hurting somebody, but it's kind of fun in a blowout game to just change the dynamic. You're just getting thumped, 19-1 or whatever it is, and just a miserable day at the ballpark, and all of a sudden you run a position player out there and have a little laugh.
Tim Bogart was the last position player who pitched in 2000 against the Giants. Didn't John Cangelosi do that in the Dome? I think he might have.
I believe he did. I wasn't around for it, but I do think I remember Cangelosi on the highlights.
Hunter Pence fouls it back. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Toronto 3, the White Sox 3. They're in the bottom of the 4th at Chicago with Roy Halladay on the mound for the Blue Jays. The foul ball comes back. The Blue Jays are leading the AL East at 13-6. But Boston has put together a nice winning streak of 9 games and is 11-6. Boston has really been coming at the Yankees this weekend. They'll play tonight in Boston. Yankees are 9-8 at the moment. Strikeout for Manny Parra. That's number 3 for him. Pudge Rodriguez struck out in the 2nd inning.
Changeup, he just turns it over a little bit. About 8 to 10 miles an hour off his fastball. Or at least off of his best fastball. We've seen him as high as 96 here this afternoon, but typically, around 92 for the most part with the heater.
Pudge looks at ball 1. The Astros return from this road trip, which starts tomorrow night. They'll play the Cubs Wednesday and Thursday, May 6th and 7th. And San Diego the 8th, 9th, and 10th on the next homestand of 5 games. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cubs currently trailing St. Louis by 4 games in the National League Central. 1-2. Tony La Russa's Cardinals have a 13-5 record, a .722 winning percentage. That is tied for the best in baseball with the Dodgers. Dodgers have won 2 straight at Colorado, both by 6-5 scores after leaving here. Did you see about that 4-inning save they got last night from Ramon Troncoso?
I did not. That's good news, though. I love it.
Is he on your fantasy team?
No, but I like the concept.
4 innings, 1 hit, and that was an infield hit. No runs.
What was the score of the ball game?
6-5.
Really?
When he came in.
That's old school.
And it stayed 6-5.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
It's a little Goose Gossage.
Foul ball back.
A little Aurelio Lopez.
That's the first time there's been a 4-inning save in Major League Baseball in something like 17 years. Greg Cadaret of the Yankees, the last pitcher to do it.
Well, yeah, because it's become almost automatic now to hand the ball to the closer in the 9th inning, regardless of the situation, if it is a safe situation. So Troncoso, in most instances, would get a, hey, nice job, hang with them, and we'll bring in our closer to seal the deal. And obviously they have some bullpen issues over there in L.A. right now.
We saw that.
But, maybe this will lead to a little more out-of-the-box thinking.
It could. Now, Phil Boudreau wonders, when was the last time that was done in the National League? Before last night. Cadaret was with the Yankees. It would be more likely to happen, perhaps, than maybe pitching not hitting. Deep drive, left center field. Pudge Rodriguez out of the box, running hard. And that one is gone. Home run, Pudge. Number 2. The Astros lead at 3-2.
He'll go in that dugout and tell Carlos that's how you do it. Don't hit it below that yellow line. Go up top. Great swing.
Right up off that archway. That's number 297 of his career. Jeff Blum fouls it. Strike 1. 3 more for that magical milestone, number 300 in the home run category for Pudge Rodriguez.
Oh, not many catchers have gone there.
Ooh, very few.
Berra, Bench, Fisk. Are there others?
Can't think of any. 1 ball, 1 strike. And it's 2-1, and this one gives the Astros the lead. Gives them their 18th long ball of the season. 3rd allowed by Manny Parra this year. Line and into left field. A birthday hit for Jeff Blum. He's shaking his right hand on the way up the first base line. It's his first hit as a 36-year-old.
Like a fine wine. So where do you use that label?
Batting 8th. That's unusual for him, but he's had very few at bats right-handed this season. Now Ortiz around to bunt. He puts it down right in front of the plate. Kendall throwing offline into center field. One will hold at second base.
Well, the Brewers came into this series having played very well defensively, but they've been sloppy, especially last night and now this afternoon. It hasn't cost them yet in the win column. This is pretty easy play. Kendall rushes that throw. Not even close.
That's an error on Kendall, his third.
His feet get tangled up a little bit.
Looked like he was trying to rush a little. Maybe his footwork wasn't quite there. But he's catching a day game after an 11-inning night game. We were surprised to see him in the lineup.
Yeah, I went next door and talked to the Brewers broadcaster, on Billy Schroeder. I said, "What's the deal?" And he said, "Oh, he catches all the time. 149 games last year." Yeah, he just didn't set his feet before making that throw. And you have to hurry it that much, and I don't think he did. But you're better off just taking the out at first base.
Michael Bourne 1 for 2. Fly ball to center. Cameron backing on it. 2 outs.
Yeah, and the other catcher, Rivera, is a good hitter. He catches Dave Bush, so they have that thing going where he catches Bush, and Kendall basically catches all the other games, whether it's a day game after a night game or not.
Jeff Keppinger ripped a double to right center field in the first. He struck out in the third inning. Cubs are leading at St. Louis 6-1. Yadier Molina hit home run number 2. Albert Pujols passed the 1,000 RBI mark for his career yesterday with his second grand slam of the season.
Gary Carter hit 324 home runs in his career.
That's right. 1-0 to Keppinger.
Now the manager of the Long Island Ducks or something. Some A club back there, independent club in New York.
That's it. Well, they usually try to sign up some recognizable names who have played in the majors for that franchise. 2 balls, no strikes, but there was a story about him recently. He said, no, he's not saying anything about any aspirations to manage the Mets. Because he did last year.
Yeah, he took some heat. He kind of, well, if they were to fire Willie, I'd be more than willing to.
Strike, and it's 2-1. Phil Boudreau pointing out that those other 3 guys you mentioned all played other positions. Bench, Berra, and Carter. There's Phil himself. He's played other positions in the organization. So, yeah, Pudge really going to get very good treatment 5 years after he retires. Hall of Fame voting comes around. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rich Harden's pitching for the Cubs against Todd Wellemeyer in St. Louis. As the Cubs try to avoid being swept, they have lost 4 in a row. On one hop, Hall, falling backwards, gets up and makes the play. Right off his backside to take care of it. It was 2-2 when the Astros came to the plate with 1 out. Pudge Rodriguez, 3-2 pitch. Home run left center field, 3-2 Astros.
go to the 5th inning. Greg Lucas here in center field in the upper deck in section 319 to talk to our progressive fan of the game. And his name is Dwayne. And the reason I'm up here, Dwayne, is because these are secret but the greatest seats in the ballpark.
Yeah, these are awesome seats, man. But I'm Brandon. He's Dwayne.
You're Dwayne. Well, you're both in great seats.
Yeah.
You're right above the plate, and a lot of people don't know about this, but if you want to come to the ballpark, 319 is the place to come. It's been a lucky seat, too, because the Astros scored on Pudge Rodriguez' home run, and hopefully they will keep it going. Brownie, back to you.
All right, Greg, you can't leave there now.
Probably not.
And why would you? Because Bob Uecker's in the house. So you could be in his seat. Russ Ortiz. Cut fastball looked like for strike one to Ricky Weeks. He's 1 for 2. 3-2 lead for the Astros. Weeks led off the game with a single to right center field, and then he grounded out to short. Michael Bourne is in right center. Strike makes it 0-2 to Ricky Weeks. Phillies have polished off the Marlins. Final score 13-2 for Philadelphia. Another win for Jamie Moyer. The ageless one. Those 6 innings, gives up 1 earned run. Cody Ross pitched a scoreless inning. He gave up 1 hit. Did not walk or strike out anybody.
That Marlin Philly game was on in the press lounge earlier, and apparently on the, I guess it was the Marlin feed they were showing, and they had a trivia question, and it was like a list of things that Jamie Moyer is older than. And one of them was daylight savings time.
That's, oh boy, this guy is really ancient. Ortiz and Rodriguez talk it over with a count 0-2. It's odd to look at the box score of the Marlins game. Cody Ross, pitcher, 3 for 4, 1 run scored. Started the game in the outfield, of course. No balls, 2 strikes for Ortiz. He's thrown 75 pitches. We see some of the guys in the bullpen up and stirring around. Workman Lee Tejada due up in the bottom of the 5th, and
where's that guy?
I don't know where he is. He's outside.
Yeah.
Strikeout on Weeks. That's number 3. Oh. Okay, he's out by Union Station.
Oh, I see.
He's out trying to find the mark where that Casey Blake home run ball hit a few nights ago. Greg Counsell is 0 for 2. Fly ball to right. Another one went to left. Well, he scored that winning run when the Marlins won the World Series in '97. Then he played for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Strike makes it a 1 ball 1 strike count. And 0-1 when they won the World Series. Good pitch for Ortiz. That puts him ahead at 1-2 on the changeup, and that's been a very nice pitch for him today. 2-2. Still remember years ago when he was with Florida, '98. C.J. Nitkowski was pitching against him. It was a very, very rainy night in Florida. The pitch got away from him, hit Counsell in the jaw. He had a broken jaw, and he just kind of stood there at home plate, was staggered, but he never really went down. He had blood coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, that was scary. That game should have been stopped long before that happened.
That's true. 3-2. Counsell was a good selection for the lineup today. Hasn't reached base, but .391 career average against Ortiz, and it also gives J.J. Hardy a rest. So Ken Maka mixes in his bench players. Bouncer up the middle. Tejada. Quick throw to Berkman. 2 outs.
Yeah, a lot of managers, a day game after a night game, especially an extra inning game, will use it as an opportunity to use their bench players, give them a start, rest some of the regulars. It's easier to do, I think, when you're winning. You know, the Brewers, have already won this series. But well, it's a long grind, so you got to make sure you give your everyday players a break every now and then, and keep those bench guys involved.
Ryan Braun doesn't need many days off. Converted third baseman. The conversion has gone well. He hasn't made any errors since he became an outfielder. He's 0 for 2 in this game. Takes ball 1 with Fielder on deck. Been a big week for Ryan Braun, as JD pointed out. 5 for 5 Tuesday at Philadelphia with 2 homers and 4 runs batted in. And then 4 for 6 last night. His hits have been coming in bunches. It's 2-0. Braun got that RBI single in the 11th inning last night, which proved to be the game winner. Driving in Corey Hart, who had led off the 11th with a double. Ortiz gets a call to make it 2-1.
Styling. Look at that. What a skill.
3 balls and a strike to Braun.
Look what I can do, Dad.
That's the end of that. Cleveland 4, Minnesota 2. They're in the bottom of the 8th at Cleveland. David Murphy with that home run for Texas. That might be his first hit of the season. There's a 2-out walk. It's number 3 for Ortiz. And he's at 87 pitches for the ball game.
Yeah, you would like for your starting pitcher to take it deep the day after you play an 11-inning game, but that just doesn't fit the profile of Russ. You know, it takes him a lot of pitches to work his way through the lineup. But, you know, should be able to give you, this one and one more, you would think.
Vince Fielder will be one of the determining factors in that equation. He's walked and scored and bounced out. Ooh, pretty good pitch coming inside, and it's ball 1 to Fielder. Fielder had such a quick bat last night on that home run in the 9th inning off Jose Valverde on the 0-2 pitch. That's the day for Russ Ortiz. One ball and 1 strike. Prince haven't checked recently, but had been estranged from his father Cecil for a while as of last year. Cecil, a big home run hitter in the American League. Prince was the 7th player drafted in the 0-2 season. He was born in Canada. There's a stop by Rodriguez on ball 2. Keeping Braun at first base. 2 balls, 1 strike to count.
Yeah, Braun capable of stealing a base, but I don't think he's going to try it with Pudge back there and Fielder hitting. You know, gives Prince a little room on the right side, and the guy who hit a couple of home runs last night, probably just going to go ahead and let him swing the bat, not take any risks on the bases.
Cecil Fielder hit 319 home runs in his career.
Yeah, Cecil Fielder not the complete player that Prince is.
True.
I think Prince a little more athletic, and you know, fewer holes in that swing. Cecil is a good hitter, dangerous hitter, man. He had a lot going on with his swing. Prince is a lot quieter.
Yeah, he did have a lot of movement. He was a right-handed hitter. Oh, close, and it's ball 4. Now back-to-back walks bring up Mike Cameron, and he's doubled both times today.
After Cameron, it's Nelson. He swings from the left side. Dewey Robinson out to have a chat, and there's left-handed action in the bullpen. Can't tell if that's Burdack or Wright.
It's Wright.
Right, yeah.
He was warming up a couple times last night. Last night, the relievers who were in the game were Chris Sampson for 1 inning, LaTroy Hawkins for 1, Jose Valverde for 1, and Jeff Geary for 2. Dewey Robinson had his pitchers gathered around. A little pregame session in the outfield. Like a little brief meeting of some kind.
It's mandatory now for the pitching coach to put his hand on the pitcher when he goes to the mound.
Why is that exactly?
It's a psychological thing. It's I'm on your side. I'm with you, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah. Les Moss never went in for that.
What did he do?
Touchy-feely stuff. He just came out and grumbled at you. Hey, stay back. Let's go, bear down.
That's a good impression of Les Moss.
And then you just kind of shuffle off. There was no hugging going on with Mossy.
No. Mike Cameron 4 for 9, 5 runs batted in with runners in scoring position. A pair of doubles today. There's ball 1. Mossy was not known to go on at great length.
No, man, a few words. But a prince of a guy. He was wonderful.
He was there. You guys had a very good pitching staff there in '86. With you guys, so you and Scotty, Bob Knepper,
Nolan, and Danny Darwin, and a great bullpen. Smitty and Kerfeld and Anderson and Lopez.
NL West champions. That was quite a clinching weekend with the 2-hitter, the 1-hitter, and the no-hitter. Mossy probably didn't have a whole lot to say that weekend either. Would he ever get exuberant after a series like that, such a well-pitched 3-game series, and let his hair down a little bit?
Nah, well, it's hard to tell with Mossy. I imagine he was pleased with a lot of things, but exuberant really wasn't part of his plan. A quiet guy.
Fly ball right field. Hunter Pence backing toward right center and back to the warning track. The ballpark just held it. Hats off. No runs, no hits. A couple men left. Middle of the 5th inning. 3-2 Astros.
They're set to bat in the bottom of the 5th. Astro fans, check out Double Play Tuesdays presented by Powerade. You can get in on this deal by bringing the labels from any two 32-ounce Powerade bottles to the Minute Maid Park box office. You'll receive 2 outfield deck seats for only $2. The next Double Play Tuesday, April 21st. That's not right because that's gone by already. I'm good at reading, though. It's going to be on the next homestand, I bet, on Tuesday.
Well, the next homestand doesn't involve a Tuesday game.
It'll be the next Tuesday when we're at home.
It is going to be May 19th. And the Milwaukee Brewers are here. Ball 1 to
That's unbelievable. Enough of these Brewers.
Well, it's a weird schedule this year. The Brewers actually come to Houston 3 times before the Astros go to Milwaukee. 2 balls, no strikes. For Manny Parra, who trails by a run. Berkman is grounded out and reached on an error. 2-1. The Reds knocked off the Braves 8-2. Micah Owings getting his first win, beating Kenshin Kawakami. That's a strike called by the home plate umpire for a swing. Chris Tiller, 2-2. The Astros will be in Atlanta next weekend, so they'll probably see Kawakami. Jay Bruce hit 2 long balls and drove in 4 pair of 2-run homers to give him 5 home runs. Berkman almost grazed by that inside pitch. Works the count full again as he did in the first inning.
Seems to drift a lot, Parra does, from his delivery. It's a hard time staying balanced over the rubber.
Strike 3. Boy, that's just been amazing. That's number 4 for Parra.
And Lance in a stretch here where they're making a lot of tough pitches on him. He's missing some hittable pitches, and a lot of the questionable calls are going against him. The theory that the star players get leeway, that's not proven to be the case here in this series. I'm not saying this is a bad pitch. It's a borderline pitch. It looked to me like it was on the plate, perhaps a little low, but I think Tiller's been fairly consistent in that regard. He's been calling that ball down there a strike. Doesn't mean the hitters are going to like it any.
Carlos Lee takes that one. 2-0. He had the RBI single in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. Lance Berkman has taken 6 called third strikes on this homestand, 5 in the last 3 games. It's 3-0.
Still say it's a better than even money bet that Lance Berkman ends up leading the team in batting.
Well, Greg Lucas had some interesting facts on the pregame show about how Lance went into a breakout period about a year ago this time. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and you remember that by late May he was in another stratosphere.
Player of the month in the National League in May last year. Yeah, it was otherworldly. Well, we're going to Cincinnati. Maybe that'll be the jump start he needs. He loves to hit there.
Yes, he does. There's a walk to El Caballo. And a struggling day continues. Manny Parra with his 3rd walk. Miguel Tejada will be next.
And then we're in our 10th half inning of play here, and the side has gone 1, 2, 3 once.
Okay.
So there's traffic. There's been a couple caught stealings that have made it for 3 up, 3 down innings, but there's been base runners in every half inning except for 1.
Tejada's 0 for 2. He's hit the ball on the ground both times. Double play set up for the Brewers, and it's ball 1. Last May, Lance Berkman hit .471, 9 homers and 22 runs batted in. He set club records for the month of May for batting average, on base percentage, which was .553, slugging .856, total bases 89, hits and runs. During one span last May, he went 31 for 50. He's only the 2nd player since 1957 to go 31 for 50. Pete Rose did it with the Phillies in '79. That was just nuts last year. It seemed like every time he came up there, he was not going to make an out. He was going to hit it hard somewhere. He went 7 games in a row from May 3rd through the 10th without recording an out in consecutive at bats. Line to left field. Caught by Braun. 2 outs.
Yeah, tough series for Miguel. He had a good swing there, though. This was bad luck. Hit it pretty well.
Hunter Pence has walked and struck out. Both times the count's been 3-2 on him. Parra now has thrown 93 pitches. He could come up in the next inning. He's due up 4th. Don't see anybody warming up right now for the Brewers. Well, we do expect to see, depending on the game situation, Trevor Hoffman later. He's just back from the rehab assignment off the disabled list today. Ball 1 for Hunter Pence.
Circle changeup grip to start. He'll adjust as he gets into the mitt.
Popped up. Kendall coming back. And just enough room before he gets into the screen to make that catch. No runs, no hits, a man stranded. After 5, it's 3-2 Astros. Time for our Dodge Grab Life feature. Here's Russ telling us about his pets.
2 dogs. We have an English Bulldog named Samantha, and we have a Great Dane mixed with an American Bulldog. His name's Chief, so we got one here and one here, so it's pretty funny.
And we have Wesley Wright in the game now. For the Astros, Russ Ortiz with 5 innings of work today, 4 hits, 2 runs allowed, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. We have some action in the Brewers bullpen. Brad Nelson leading it off. He's 0 for 2. And there's strike 1 as Wesley Wright comes in.
Got the lefty leading off the inning, so Wesley Wright gets the call. He did not work in last night's ball game. He's on for the 7th time. Most of the damage he has incurred is in that one game over in St. Louis. He gave up 4 runs in an inning of work there.
He fields the comebacker. He fell off a little bit toward the third base side, but got the glove back. We're out number 1 on Brad Nelson.
And he got an extra warm-up pitch in by throwing a good low strike to Lance Berkman over there at first base. Very cool and calm out there. And throws him a good knee-high fastball.
Seth McClung is warming up for the Brewers, and Doug Brocail getting loose for the Astros. Bill Hall's the batter. He popped to Lance Berkman in shallow right field, and he walked. Upstairs for ball one to Bill Hall. McClung, number 73, is at work. Pitcher spot due up third for the Astros in the bottom of the inning. Wesley Wright worked Thursday against the Dodgers. One scoreless inning.
On the birth certificate, it's DeQuam La Wesley Wright.
What do you think he would do if you called him DeQuam?
I'm guessing he would smile. He's a very affable guy.
Todd Coffey relaxing in the bullpen. Two balls and a strike. Coffey pitched one inning last night, gave up 4 hits and 3 runs, so he's probably relaxing because he figures he's not going to get in this game.
Could have been
3-1 to count.
Imagine Lance Berkman's thinking, hey, wait a minute, isn't that a strike on me?
It's been a confusing homestand for us regarding balls and strikes. We are seeking a redefinition of the strike zone at this point. Jam shot foul. 3 balls, 2 strikes now on Bill Hall. Right that in on him. Wesley had that one terrible inning in St. Louis. 7 hits and 4 runs in 1 inning. 3-run homer by Albert Pujols. Since then, he picked up a win in Pittsburgh. Coming into a tie game in the 5th inning. A man on base getting 1 out. And 4 scoreless appearances since the inning in St. Louis for Wesley Wright. And in fact, he has 5 out of 6 outings scoreless this year. Looping line drive for a hit. A 1-out single for Bill Hall. Jason Kendall follows. Kendall was hit by a pitch in the 2nd. He had an RBI single in the 4th. Manny Parra comes out to the on-deck circle. McClung is warming up in the bullpen, and Ken Maka has some options here. Right, we throw to first. Tim Burdack has not pitched in a few days. 6 of them, in fact, since his last outing against Cincinnati.
Something you almost never see. No batting gloves. Working those fingers, staying loose.
Looks like a flutist. There's strike 1. He's been a very good contact hitter over the course of his career. Looks at the breaking ball. It's 1-1.
Talk about good hitters being quiet in the batter's box, but what Kendall does, it's similar to a golfer with a waggle or a little regrip. He's kind of always moving those hands and rocking back and forth a little bit, and then he comes set. Because you can't get to a point if you're still for too long, you kind of get out of sync. You have a little rhythm. Most guys do anyway. Paul Molitor was an exception. Paul would stand there just dead quiet at home plate.
It's 2-1. Jason Kendall hit .327 for Pittsburgh in '98. .332 the next year. .320 the next year. And early in his career, he became the first major league catcher to have 3 seasons of 20 steals or more. Three and 1 now.
There's really a unique player, a top of the order catcher. You don't see many of those.
No, that's true.
Because of his speed. Pudge, when he was catching, that was kind of his game.
A dislocated right ankle back in '99. That slowed him down a little bit. Foul back. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Kendall had been with Oakland. He was with the Pirates for a long time, but then with the A's from 05 through a portion of 07, and then moving on to Milwaukee as a free agent prior to last year.
Tough guy to put away.
Runner going. Ground ball, Berkman. No play at second. He takes out number 2 at first base. Hauled to second for the pitcher now. We'll see if Parra bats. It's like J.J. Hardy coming out to hit for him.
And Kendall, with the runner moving, trying to steer that ball through the hole on the right side. Just unable to do that. Hit it right at Lance.
Manny Parra is called back after 5 innings of work. J.J. Hardy pinch hitting for him. Parra allowed 5 hits, 3 runs. 1 of them earned. He had 3 walks and struck out 4. Now Cecil Cooper, who's had Doug Brocail warming up, comes out. That's it for Wesley Wright. Houston 3, Milwaukee 2. Back in a moment. For the Coors Light Freeze Cam, showing the Pudge Rodriguez in a 2-2 game. And freeze that one right on the barrel of his bat as it goes out for home run number 2 of the year, number 297 of his career. Coors Light Freeze Cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. The Astros still lead it 3-2 on the strength of that tie-breaking home run by Pudge Rodriguez. Now he's warming up Chris Sampson. It's not Doug Brocail, as we told you, but Sampson coming in with a runner at second, 2 outs to face J.J. Hardy.
Chris worked a scoreless inning last night. He's been throwing the ball very well this year. Boy, he had good stuff last night. The action on his breaking pitch was very good. Good sink. He's on for the 9th time. He's 1-0 with a 164 earned run average.
It's been a busy weekend for him with his high school uniform number retired Friday night, then the outing last night, and now another one. This is his 5th trip to the mound on this homestand. And it's Hardy pinch hitting. Hardy trying to get on track, hitting 177. First pitch breaking ball, and it's strike 1. Hardy's had 62 at bats, 2 for 12 in his career pinch hitting. No at bats this season pinch hitting yet. Hardy yanks one up the left field line. It is moving right to left and is foul.
That was scary.
Yeah. Pointing over at that Milwaukee bench, it looks like. Hardy had 3 hits Friday night. Last night hitless in 4 at-bats with a couple of walks. To shortstop. Tejada fields the 2-hopper. Turns it into out number 3. No runs a hit. Remains stranded. Sampson gets a key out to keep the Astros in the lead 3-2 in the 6th. Land Rover extraordinary play. Let's look at a couple of from Pudge Rodriguez. First, here's a play in which he throws out a base runner trying to steal Ricky Weeks in the first inning, and now he snaps a 2-2 tie. Long ball on a 3-2 pitch from Manny Parra in the 4th. Pudge Rodriguez has erased a base runner and scored a run in this 3-2 ball game.
He becomes even more important in the later stages of a close game like this. His ability to shut down the running game makes it tough for the opposition to play for a run. Tougher.
Now he tries to play add-on with relief pitcher Seth McClung in the game. 0-1 with an ERA of 5.
9 innings, 9 strikeouts, 9 walks. Pitched well for the Brewers last year. Worked as a starter 10 or 12 times, and some pretty solid work out of the pen. Big hard throwing West Virginian.
Strike 1 to Pudge. He struck out in the 2nd inning, then went deep in the 4th. McClung began his career with Tampa Bay. McClung in that game last night worked just 1/3 of an inning. He came in the 7th to get an out, and Carlos Lee struck him out. No balls, 2 strikes. Doug Brocail is warming up in the Houston pen. Pitcher spot is due up 3rd. Broke just about ready to return from the disabled list and get in again. LaTroy Hawkins doing that windmilling is getting ready for the 8th inning. Grounded 3rd, Billy Hall. 1 out.
You look like Glenn Hall.
Yes, he did. That's going way back.
Yeah, well, great goaltender Glenn Hall. A little kick save there.
Now let's see. Glenn Hall didn't wear a mask, did he?
What's that? That's straight out of the NHL.
So that's why you're saying that. There might be times that a third baseman would want to wear a mask. That ball pretty sharply hit. Jeff Blum on his 36th birthday is 1 for 2. And there's strike one. Jason Smith has come out to the on deck circle with a pitcher spot due up next. Wesley Wright in 2/3 of an inning allowed 1 hit, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. Grounder into left field. Nice birthday. 2 for 3.
Waits back nicely on the off-speed offering. With a curvature through the hole.
He had 2 knocks last night as well.
Don't see him hit the ball on the ground to the left side very much at all.
Pinch hitters Jason Smith batting for Sampson. 214 career hitter, 17 homers, 60 runs batted in. 0 for 18 as an Astro. There's ball 1. Jason looks at Dave Clark. Flashing signs. He came up last night, tried to put down a bunt in the 11th inning after Hunter Pence had led off with a single. Couldn't get the bunt down and then hit a fly ball to left. It's 2-0. Well, we know that David Murphy of the Texas Rangers, who was 0 for 22, has homered today.
Maximum speed.
Jason Smith is the other guy in that company to have at least 18 at bats in the majors this year without a hit. He would love to break through right here. Michael Bourne on deck. Two balls and 1 strike. Seth McClung's name was tossed about by Ken Maka as the possible interim closer without Trevor Hoffman.
He certainly has good enough stuff.
You see it.
The swing is real long right now. He's kind of drifting forward with his body, and that causes the hands to drag, and he's vulnerable to that high heater. Probably be doing him a favor if they threw him a breaking pitch here.
Mike DeFelice was the winning pitcher last night. Fly ball center field, chases Mike Cameron back to right center for the catch. 2 outs.
Yeah, put a pretty good swing on that high fastball.
Sure did.
He would have settled for a broken bat flare single, though.
Oh, yeah.
When you're 0 for the season, it's tough to accept the, hey, good swing, good at bat, way to battle. You just want some results. You want to knock.
Yeah, that can weigh on your mind the deeper it goes into the season, obviously, and with the new ball club trying to get established. Now Michael Bourne. There's strike 1 to him. Bourne is 1 for 3, singled in 3rd and scored on a Carlos Lee hit. That's low, and it's a 1 ball 1 strike count. Jason Smith got a chance to make 3 starts in that Cincinnati series. At second base with Kazuo Matsui out. That's what managers try to do this time of year, give those guys who have not been playing very much a few starts to try to help them out in pinch hitting roles. It's 2-1 now.
Steady diet of breaking balls here from McClung. From Michael Bourne. Lay off, stay back. Yeah, that's it. Stay back, stay back.
Cleveland down Minnesota 4-2 in Cleveland. Aaron Laffey won that one to go to 2-0. He beat Glenn Perkins, who's 1-2, and Kerry Wood got his 4th save. Cleveland now 7-12, avoided a sweep by Minnesota. Three and 1 to Michael Bourne. Baltimore down Texas 8-5. Dennis Baez getting that win over Jason Jennings. George Sherrill picked up his 4th save. Bourne takes a walk. 2 men on for Keppinger now. And Maka with that placid look.
Where's Jason Jennings these days?
He is in relief for the Texas Rangers.
Okay. McClung wears uniform number 73 because 37 wasn't available. 37 was his older brother Marcus, was a football player at Virginia Tech, and was signed by the BC Lions of the Canadian Football League. Blew out his knee and wasn't able to play there. Very athletic family.
Keppinger has a double in 3 trips. Moves back from that one. It's ball 1. Tight 3-2 ball game as Keppinger with Berkman behind him hopes to come up with a big 2-out hit here and help the Astros to more of a lead. Brocale is getting ready for the 7th. That one's in there for strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, with Broke having not been out there in a while, and Valverde having some struggles and the injury he's coming off of, it would be nice to have a little cushion in the late innings.
Doug opting not to go out on a minor league rehab assignment. And he lobbied hard to do exactly what has happened, come back off the disabled list without pitching in a minor league game. 2 balls and a strike. He pitched a simulated game though Friday, pronounced himself fit. His point was, if I go out and pitch in 1 inning in a minor league game, I might throw only 6 or 7 pitches, and they're not going to send me out for a second inning of work, so that's not that much work. 3-1 to count. He's been around a few times. Did you see that note on Brian Moeller?
No.
The only time he's ever pitched at AAA has been on rehab assignments. He's never really pitched above AA other than the majors, except when he's been hurt and rehab. That's pretty rare. 3-2. Got about 6 or 7 rehab assignments in the minor leagues, and he's had 1 this year, and we'll have 1 more on Wednesday at AA Corpus Christi, although they're on the road at Midland. Three and 2, 2 outs. The runners will be moving. Blum at second and Bourne at first. Fly ball to right field. Nelson over. In the 6th for Houston. No runs, a hit, 2 men stranded, and after 6, it's 3-2 Astros. Houston is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. By Steel. and by Southwest Airlines. A lot of students and folks of the professional variety take that little mode of transportation downtown, maybe out to the Reliance Stadium area here in Houston. It's been a nice method of transportation. Light rail has come to Houston. Doug Brocail has lived through several eras here. He is 1-0 with a 7.71 ERA in 3 games, and now he is back from the disabled list with a 1-run lead in the 7th, facing Ricky Weeks, who's 1 for 3.
Yeah, Doug declaring all systems go after that last simulated game, but still, I'm sure, anxious moments for this Astros dugout as Brocail goes out there in a 1-run game. First time he's seen game action since April 10th.
Upstairs, and he's behind 2-0 to Ricky Weeks, who singled leading off the game. Doug, at age 41, has really dealt with a lot of injuries in his career. He pitched 72 times last year. Now 3-0. Had a strained right rotator cuff. And there's a 4-pitch walk. Weeks is on with only his 2nd walk of the season. That's 5th base on balls for Astros pitchers in this game. Chris Sampson retired the only man he faced on a ground out. Craig Counsell's 0 for 3. Wesley Wright and Sampson helping out in the 6th inning to bridge to the 7th. Now Blum is creeping in. Counsell showing bunt. It's ball 1. Pudge immediately going out. That's 5 straight balls for Brocail. And Dewey Robinson will join in.
Brocail's a beauty, isn't he?
He is.
Pudge wraps his arm around his waist, so Brocail gives him a big bear hug. That's how we're going to work our way through this, pal. You see, between us, we got about 100 years of Major League experience. We should be able to figure something out.
Well, Doug was talking about his command after the simulated game Friday and about how he needed to throw a few more pitches, 5 or 6 more after facing those hitters, to make sure he could get the ball where he wanted to get it. And now he's looking to make an adjustment here after opening with 5 straight balls.
Yeah, so Counsell showing bunt there on that first pitch, and the Brewers, a number of ways they can go about it here. They can keep the straight sacrifice on, just straight take and make sure Doug can throw a strike, or they could turn Counsell loose, figuring they're going to get a pretty hittable fastball here as he tries to find the zone. And then it was taking all the way.
1-1.
And, you know, if Counsell were a guy with a lot of thump in his bat, you might have turned him loose there.
Into right field. Weeks had to wait until that ball passed in front of him, and it's 1st and 2nd now on the single by Counsell with nobody out for Braun.
Well, Doug struggling to find the strike zone. Counsell sitting fastball there, 1-1. He got one up, and he got the head out and yanked it through that hole. And the Astros caught a break last night when Corey Hart was hit by a line drive off the bat of Ryan Braun. Almost caught lightning in a bottle here again today. But now, in a bit of a pickle.
Yes. Facing Braun, who's lined to short, grounded to 3rd, and walked. Paid attendance today, 27,690.
There have been no reports about Tim Burdack being nicked up at all, have there?
No.
Yeah. He hasn't pitched in a while, and he's not up throwing now with fielder on deck.
Ball 1 to Braun. Strike 1 to Braun. Our league leaders are brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. The National League home run leaders over the last 10 days are Carlos Lee, Ryan Braun, Manny Ramirez, and Chase Utley, each with 4.
Well, so if those guys are on your fantasy team, you've had a pretty good week. It's 2-0. You were right, Brian. That first pitch was a ball.
Okay. Well, now Braun will be zoning in on something here, looking for a fastball, a pitch he can drive.
Yeah, you know, he's been in some counts like this over the weekend, and he's more than willing to just take that cookie. I'm surprised he's not a little bit more aggressive on these counts. Some guys, they don't like to swing 3-0, and that time it was 2-0, and he was taking all the way.
And that pitch ran in on him, so it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. So if you were to choose between the 2-0 pitch and the 2-1 pitch, the 2-0 pitch much more hittable, as it turned out. But a hitter has about what, 1/10 of a second to make up his mind to swing. So
yeah, there's not a whole lot of time to contemplate these things. There's a whole lot more reacting that goes on than there is thinking at this stage of the game. The thinking's done. Now it's time to react.
reaches for that one, fouls it back. Fielder on deck.
Triple plays in order.
Didn't Mike Shannon call that one time, and then there was a triple play on the next pitch?
He did, yeah.
Astros relievers lead the league in innings pitched with 62. 4.65 bullpen ERA for Houston coming into this game. Popped up, but out of play for Pudge. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cotton candy. We're talking about that pink day coming up. Let's see. Really, there aren't that many different colors for cotton candy, are there? It's pink and blue. Is that about it?
Pink and blue, yeah, that's all I got, Brownie. You know, any variations?
Now looks like Tim Burdick might be getting up. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So that would be the situation here, probably, if the Astros face Fielder, with Braun having delivered something for Milwaukee. We'll see.
I haven't noticed. I don't know if Tim's been throwing a little bit or not. It looks like he's just getting up, so I don't think he would be ready to face Fielder.
No. Not going to be able to get ready that quickly. Lance Berkman back for the foul pop. That's a very big out.
How sweet is that?
Weeks tag and trying to draw a throw. That's a huge out for Doug Brocail. 1 out. Prince Fielder has walked twice and grounded out. Washington beat the Mets 8-1. Nationals are now 4-13, dropping the Mets to 8-10. Strike 1. Pudge wants it down.
Why? It worked pretty good up there.
Yeah, it did. He, as you pointed out last night when his home run sailed out of the building, he hits the high pitch very well.
I think he's gotten used to the pitchers trying to pound him up and in, and he's learned to spin on that pitch. It's a little cutter there, that late movement getting in on the thumbs. It's a good weapon for Brocail against the left-handed hitters. Had you brought Burdick in, say you had him ready here, and if you don't get a double play ball from Fielder, then you've got Burdick facing Mike Cameron, or you'd have to make yet another move in your pen. So I think it's to Coop just kind of thinking it through, figured, well, I like Brocail's chances against Fielder. I'd rather have the Brocail Fielder matchup than Burdick Cameron.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Jordan Zimmerman came up big today for Washington against the Mets in that 8-1 win. There've been a lot of good reports about that. Good rookie who went 5 1/3 and gave up 1 run. Oliver Perez, though, might be in danger of being sent down. 4 1/3 innings, 9 hits, 7 earned runs allowed by Perez today.
I think he'd have to agree to that.
He probably would. Struck him out. 77-mile-per-hour curveball.
First one he's thrown too. Boy, pulled it out at just the right time. After the cutter's up and the hard stuff, he drops his big hook. Beautiful pitch.
He pulled that one out of mothballs just when he needed it. Now Mike Cameron has 2 doubles and a fly ball to right. An RBI and a run scored for Cameron. Ball 1. Brad Nelson on deck. Pudge will go out for a chat. Roquel's thrown 20 pitches. Probably the great majority of the time a pitcher coming off the DL would go on a minor league rehab assignment, but relief pitcher who works 1 inning, it's not totally necessary. And Doug was able to plead his case with Coop and Ed Wade and make his point. Now he's right in the heat of a 3-2 ball game. Really needs to make pitches.
Yeah, and I think it became easier for Ed and Coop and everybody to buy into too after Valverde got whacked the other day with that comebacker and hurt his calf. Looked like they were going to be short in that pen for a while.
Curveball makes it 2-1. Oliver Perez was booed off the field in New York today by a crowd of 40,000 plus. He's walked 15 and given up 23 hits in 19 1/3 innings.
He may request getting sent down to AAA just for a little breather.
That's for sure.
Get out of the fire.
2-2. There was that quote from Jerry Manuel before the game yesterday about the Mets' frustrations. He said, "I'm at the bridge, and if I go over, I'm taking somebody with me."
Man, they're panicking. It's April 25th.
Now the 3 balls, 2
It's
strikes.
amazing how these guys are. You know, from the minute you enter professional baseball, you're just beat over the head. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Don't panic. There's peaks and valleys. Keep even keel. And you hear all these comments of doom and gloom in the 3rd week of April.
But it's going in. It is on appeal, ball 4. The bases are loaded. On the walk to Cameron, the Astros appealed to Dale Scott, but he checked his swing. Now Brad Nelson.
You know, I think Brooke may have a point. It looked like Cameron may have offered at that pitch. And he came in to pick up the carom, thinking he might have to make a play on Cameron. And as they were appealing, it was ruled no swing, but we'll take a peek at it here. And from there, it looked like no swing.
But meanwhile, he fell down going for the baseball.
No, he didn't go.
Bases loaded now. Nelson is 0 for 3. Fly ball to left. A grounder to second. Another ground ball back to the pitcher.
And if you're thinking Tim Burdack here, Ken Mata likely counters with Corey Hart. So you probably like this matchup if you Coop better than plan B.
O'Kale's at 26 pitches for the inning.
Pudge looking towards the Brewer dugout. I imagine somebody's yapping at him like, how many meetings are you guys going to have?
O'Kale was a winning pitcher in the Astros' first win of the year here in the 10th against the Cubs. 0-2. In his second outing, he gave up a homer to the Cubs' Fukudome. In his third outing, he gave up another home run to Ludwig in St. Louis. Now the bases loaded, trying to get a big out in this 3-2 game. High drive going foul. And Nelson made a strong bid.
Pretty decent swing, but almost impossible to keep that ball fair. That late cutting action really getting in on him. It's possible to hit that ball hard, but it's almost impossible to hit it hard and fair. That's what was impressive about Fielder's home run. He turned on that inside fastball and was able to keep it fair. Yeah.
Nelson's looking for his first Major League RBI. Struck him out looking.
He's going to have to look elsewhere.
Doug Brocail is back. No runs a hit. 3 men left. 7th inning stretch. God bless America. And it's good to have Doug Brocail back. It's America. Enjoying a 3-2 ball game, and they got a rousing moment there with the strikeout of Nelson by Brocail. Now the Astros come up in the home 7th inning against Seth McClung. The Puma supporters hoping Lance Berkman can get it started. He is 0 for 3. Fly ball headed for left center field. Cameron calling. One pitch, one out for McClung. He worked out of trouble in the 6th inning with 2 men on, getting Keppinger. Carlos Lee singled in a 3rd inning run with a hit to left. He's 1 for 2 with a walk. Firestone in-game box score showing you the Astros lineup producing 6 hits so far. The Brewers also have 6. Carlos Lee with one of those at single to left. He has 15 runs batted in to lead the club. Looking at ball 1. It's 2-0. Miguel Tejada's on deck. Fly ball outside the first baseline will drift back into the seats. 2-1. Astros trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Brewers have won 4 straight.
And no matter how you slice it, it's been a bad homestand, but it sure would be nice to head out with a W. Try to get a little something going on the road.
Roy Oswalt tomorrow night in Cincinnati against Johnny Cueto. That's a rematch from a few days ago.
It's usually a winning formula.
Well, Roy went 6 shutout innings in that last start, but got a no decision. He is 23-1 against the Reds in his career with a 2.39 ERA. Popped up this time in play for Prince Fielder. Foul. Up number 2.
Who else is working that series for the Red Legs?
We are going to see it on your screen. Oswalt and Cueto, Wandy Rodriguez, Aaron Harang, another rematch from the series here. Felipe Paulino and Edinson Volquez.
See if Wandy can take all that good work he's been doing on the road. Aaron Harang, he's off to a great start this year.
Yeah, he looked good in the game here. Harang, well, he didn't look good, did he? 6 innings, 5 runs. Might have looked good in an inning or 2. There's a foul ball and strike 1 to Miguel Tejada. He is 0 for 3. A lot of people around Cincinnati, though, feel that Aaron Harang will give them a lot better shot at winning than he did last year. And the Reds took 3 of 4 in Houston. They have not played well over the years here at Minute Maid Park. One ball and 1 strike to Tejada. Hunter Pence on deck. That sails high, and it's 2-1. Seth McClung from the Brewers bullpen. Pitcher number 2 of the day. Manny Parra went 5 innings. McClung has gone 1 2/3 so far.
Well, something in that left center alley would work.
3-1. We might see Trevor Hoffman next inning, no matter what the situation is. It sounded as if from the Brewers folks who cover their club before the game today, they were going to try to get him in the game no matter what. Fastball makes it a full count. Miguel Tejada.
Yeah, I know Maka wants to get him in there, but in a 3-2 game that you're trailing, if you use him in the 8th, and if you're not inclined to use him for 2 innings, you might not have him available for a save opportunity in the 9th if you rally.
Good point.
It's one of those things I think you go into it. Yeah, we're going to get him in there, and then wait a minute, the game's not going to allow us to get him in there perhaps.
Tejada fouls it back. Still 3 balls, 2 strikes. We saw that scheduled starter Felipe Paulino. That'll be another start for Felipe on Wednesday, and that'll be the day that Brian Moeller pitches for AA Corpus Christi at Midland. The objective is to get him to 100 pitches in that game. He's wearing a very light knee brace, and things are going well for him. He doesn't even feel it when he's pitching. Foul away. So the expectation is that Brian, after that next start, would be ready to rejoin the rotation. Perhaps 5 days after that. And there he is. The Astros do have an off day Thursday on this next road trip. Then they'll be in Atlanta next weekend for 3 and 2 games in Washington. after that before returning home against the Cubs. Bouncer Bill Hall. And Seth McClung has put up 2 zeros. After 7, it's 3-2 Astros. This game summary is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. That's a Mike Cameron RBI double in the 2nd inning. Milwaukee leading 1-0, and then Russ Ortiz with a shot. Russ Ortiz threw a walk earlier in the game, and Carlos Lee RBI single there. The Astros got a couple of unearned runs. Russ Ortiz scoring one of them. And there's Kendall with a hit into left field as run number 2 came home to tie it. Pudge Rodriguez home run in the 4th. 3-2. The Astros lead it with LaTroy Hawkins coming in the 8th now. Darren Erstad also entering the game in a double switch. He is batting 9th. Carlos Lee leaving the game. The number 4 spot now occupied by the pitcher. LaTroy Hawkins is pitcher number 5.
2 scoreless innings for the bullpen so far. LaTroy Hawkins works for the 10th time this year. Struggled last night, allowed a couple of runs in 1 inning of work. He's got 2 saves, an ERA of 4 for his 9 innings.
Doug Brocail in 1 scoreless inning, allowing 1 hit. He walked 2 and fanned 2. Now it's Bill Hall. Hall has a walk and a single. Rolled off the end of the bat. And there's the play on to first by Keppinger. 1 out. Jason Kendall will be next. 1 pitch, 1 out there for Hawkins. Kendall drove in run number 2 with that hit to left field in the 4th inning. He's also been hit by a pitch. He's 1 for 2. Corey Hart comes out to the on deck circle. In the bullpen, it's DeFelice warming up. Mark DeFelice. We got the win last night for Milwaukee in the 11th inning. Ball 1 to Kendall. Seth McClung gave the Brewers a good 2 innings. He'll be leaving for the pinch hitter after allowing 1 hit and no runs, with 1 walk and no strikeouts. Hawkins brings it in for a strike, leaving the count at 1-1. curves in the dirt, and it's a 2-1 count for LaTroy Hawkins.
LaTroy, like Russ Ortiz, very deliberate, takes a lot of time between pitches.
Fastball cracked on a line, a hit to center field by Kendall. His second hit. Now it's Hart pinch hitting for McClung.
Second hit and third time that Jason Kendall's been on base today. He was hit by a pitch, a couple of singles, and both of his base hits coming on pretty good pitches. With that fastball down back in the fourth off Ortiz, and this time the Hawk goes down and away with a heater. And just goes down and hits a solid line drive to center field.
Hart is 3 for 9 with an RBI this weekend. 288, 3 homers, 7 runs batted in for the season. There's ball 1 to Corey Hart. He's had 66 at bats, none as a pinch hitter so far this year. J.J. Hardy pinch hit in the 6th inning, so the guys who normally grind it out and play every day are coming off the bench today.
Yeah, we talk a lot about what a difficult job it is to be a pinch hitter. I think even more so for a guy who's used to playing every day, used to preparing yourself and getting into the mindset of a bench guy, a pinch hitter. Very few guys do it successfully, and I guess it just depends on how you define success. League average probably around 200 for pinch hitters.
1-2.
That's why it's not always a no-brainer decision. Where hey, you got to bring this guy off the bench. He's a better hitter than well, whoever you got in there may have had 3 at bats, and he's in the rhythm of the game. He's seen some live pitching, whereas the guy coming off the bench is, maybe he's taking a few swings in the batting cage back underneath and warmed up and stuff, but it's still not the same as being up to game speed.
Hart leads the Brewers in runs scored with 13. Swing and a miss. That's out number 2. And Hart, who had a career 383 pinch hit batting average, is gone.
And just a great pitch. Tight little slider, just diving off the outside edge. A dangerous hitter dispatched.
Assistant athletic trainer Rex Jones is headed out to the mound. Cecil Cooper's trailing him as Hawkins gets some attention.
And he tried to wave Rex off as Rex started out there. But Rex is going to do his due diligence, going to go out and chat with him, find out what's going on. Astros celebrating 10 years at Minute Maid Park. Help us pick the best moment in our 10-year bracket challenge. You can do it at Astros.com. Last chance to vote on this week's challenge.
Hawkins stays in. Ricky Weeks will be batting now. Lance Berkman runs over from first base where Kendall's the runner. Weeks has a single and a walk. Brewers have out hit the Astros 7-2. Milwaukee has committed 2 errors to Houston's 1. Milwaukee has stranded 10. The Astros have left 8. Strike to Weeks. Jose Valverde starting to move around in the Astros bullpen right now. It was a rough night for the Astros bullpen last night. Relievers allowed 5 runs in 5 innings. Hawkins misses, and it's 1-1.
Earlier I was talking about Pudge Rodriguez and how important he becomes in these tight games late. And pretty good example here. This is a dandy of a pitch, by the way, just a little bit off that outside edge. But LaTroy Hawkins very slow to home plate. But it'd be high risk even with that for Kendall to try to get this bag with Pudge back there. He's going.
Pudge with a throw. Tagged by Kepinser. Out! And Pudge throws out his second of the game. In the 8th inning, it's no runs, a hit, nobody left. The arm of Pudge Rodriguez, the bat of Pudge Rodriguez, on display today, 3-2 Astros. That's the day of baseball for the Astros, and now it is Mark DeFelice coming in for the bottom of the 8th inning. 3-2 Astros. They would love to provide some working room for Jose Valverde for the 9th. DeFelice got the win last night in the 11th.
Yeah, he's off to a great start with the Brewers. ERA below 1. It works from a little bit of a low 3/4 delivery. Slings the ball up there. He throws a lot of cutters. A late break away from the right-handed batters.
Cracked on a line to left field by Hunter Pence. Off the base of the wall. That'll be a long single. He hit it too hard to get a double.
That time the cutter backed up on DeFelice and just hovered on the inner half of the plate, and Hunter jumped all over it. And this Karen kicks right back to Ryan Braun. Couldn't have been in a better spot for it. No chance whatsoever to get 2 here.
Pudge Rodriguez has had quite a day today. Home run in the 4th to snap a 2-2 tie. He's 1 for 3. He's thrown out 2 base runners trying to steal. He's worked with 5 different pitchers. Runner going. He stops. The throw sails. What a play by Ricky Weeks, diving to keep that throw from going into center field.
Now with the swing, the middle infield is trying to hold ground a little bit longer so they can cover their position. But Pudge comes up empty. Kendall comes up firing. Nobody home, but Ricky Weeks It was a corral. The counsel might have been there to bail him out anyway, but that's a pretty neat play.
Strike one to Pudge. Pops it up foul, and that's out of play.
There's Hunter on the break. He sees no contact and slams on the brakes. And that's almost always a losing proposition. You might as well, typically, you're just going to keep on going and hope for a bad throw or something at second base. But with nobody there to cover and Weeks having to leave his feet, he was able to get back to first.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and Jeff Blum is on deck. Quick move to first by DeFelice. DeFelice came in last night with the bases loaded. In the 10th inning, retired Miguel Tejada and gave up a leadoff hit to Hunter Pence in the 11th, but got the next 3 for his first win. He was 1-0 last year with Milwaukee as well. One and two. DeFelice began his career in the Rockies organization, a 15th round pick in '98. Then he bounced around to several different teams, including a couple of independent league teams. Last year was his first time in the big leagues. He's 32. Hunter Pence draws another throw. Angels lead Seattle 5-0. They've played 5 at Anaheim. Howie Kendrick hit his second home run. Juan Rivera, number 1 of the year. Cubs 10, St. Louis 3. Middle of the 9th in St. Louis. Michael Hoffpauir hit number 2. Fukudome number 4. Line caught. Counts it with a throw. Safe at first. A lot of action there.
Yeah, Hunter Pence has done a lot of running without really going anywhere in the last 5 minutes or so. This time he looked like he wanted to go, and he started, then he stopped, and then with the line drive, he breaks on contact, says, no, can't do that either, and he had to scramble back to first.
Pudge hit it right on the screws. Jeff Blum, the batter. 2 for 3 on his 36th birthday. Darren Erstad is on deck. DeFelice working hard on Hunter.
Probably get a little more.
Yeah, Hunter was talking about that situation last night in the 11th inning when he was on base after a leadoff single. DeFelice kept throwing over. Now he gets back.
And again, Hunter starting to pump as if you're going. I don't know if he's just trying to deke DeFelice or trying to time him. Diving back to that back corner of the base.
Yeah, he didn't really give Fielder a hand to tag. Otherwise, he might have been called out. Blum looks at it. It's strike 1. It's Oakland 4, Tampa Bay 1. They've played 3 in Oakland. Now 1-1 to Blum, who in his career is a .288 hitter against the Brewers.
Lifetime .667 hitter on his 36th birthday.
It's Blum and Keppinger platoon working quite well at third base. They're hitting a combined .364. Whoever's playing third base at the time. Diving back in once again, Hunter.
Yeah, DeFelice with quick feet on that pickoff move, and he's working Hunter over. Very difficult for a base runner when a pitcher's paying this much attention to you. You got you diving back in there frequently. They're using the quick step with his delivery home. Very difficult to get any kind of a good read and a good jump.
Fouled by Blum. 1-2. Hunter take a step towards second that time. 3-2 ball game. Each club with 7 hits. Another move to first. Oh, he has made a lot of throws over. There's stirring in the Milwaukee bullpen, but nobody throwing at the moment.
Gunner said, "Hey, you're pushing me off the base, man."
Yeah. Prince can do that. Up the right field line, it hooks. Foul.
Not easy to hit in this situation either, with the pitcher throwing over that much and taking a lot of time between pitches. It makes it tough for the hitter too to concentrate to stay in any kind of a rhythm. Even the clappers are out of rhythm. Yeah, kid, he's just missing the beat.
Colorado is bashing the Dodgers 10-2 in the bottom of the 7th at Denver. Clint Barmas hit his 3rd home run. Ryan Spilborgh's #1 of the year. Pittsburgh 2, San Diego 2, top of the 4th. Adrian Gonzalez belted #7. Another throw to first base.
I'm guessing these pickoff attempts are being called from the dugout.
Yeah.
Most managers now control the running game themselves, the pitch outs, the pickoffs, and all that.
Swing and a miss by Blum. That's a strikeout. Out #2.
Oh, pretty impressive job by DeFelice. Visit the official online shop of the Astros at astros.com. Browse the largest selection of authentic team gear, including clubhouse caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your team gear straight from the source. Shop the astros.com shop.
Ken Maka now might want a left-handed pitcher. With Erstad coming up next, he's making a move with the score 3-2 Houston. Back in a moment.
Out. Aaron Erstad to bat. Tuesday night, 10 o'clock, FSN presents Spotlight Mike Hampton. Tuesday at 10. That should be interesting.
Yeah, we've seen portions of that. Good program about his career, but he was talking from an excerpt on that contract he got from the Rockies, how he dealt with that situation. Here is Mitch Stetter versus Darren Erstad. Very difficult for left-handed hitters against Stetter. They are 1 for 11 against him. And there's why. There's strike one. Erstad up for the first time in this game. 167. He's 3 for 18. Stetter has no wins or losses. His ERA 3.60. He tosses to first. Erstad with 3 hits and 18 at bats, trying to come through here, keep the inning going with Michael Bourne on deck.
Stetter, a type of lefty that a left-handed hitter just, you're not going to get greedy against him. You're just going to try to fight him off with that delivery. Awfully tough.
It's 1-1. Mitch, 28 years old, from Huntingburg, Indiana, Huntingtonburg, and he was drafted in the 16th round in 2003. Worked 2/3 of an inning last night, giving up no hits, no runs. He came in, the score tied in the 7th. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, if you're a young left-hander, high school, college kid, and still pretty good, but a little short of major league velocity, this would be a way to go. Alter that delivery, drop down a little bit, become a left-handed specialist, and you could stick around the big leagues for a while.
Out into right center, Mike Cameron coming for it, and Mike Cameron gets there. Tremendous play for out number 3. No runs a hit and the man left. Cameron really closed on that ball to end the 8th inning and keep the score 3-2 Houston. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines, by your Texas Ford dealers, and by the Progressive Insurance Group. This has been a 3-2 ball game ever since the end of the 4th inning. No scoring from the 5th through the 8th. Jose Valverde hoping it continues in that pattern as he comes in for the 9th.
Well, the Astros need a win in the worst way, and Jose needs a save in the worst way. Off to a slow start this year, as he did last year. 7 ball games, he has a save, but he's failed on a couple of opportunities, a high ERA. So, but we know how he bounced back after last year's early struggle, so maybe this is the start of the turnaround here this afternoon.
Rough night for him last night. He got a blown save coming in with a lead of 1 run in the 9th inning. 7-6, and then Corey Hart greeted him with a double. And after a ground out, Prince Fielder ripped a 2-run homer on an 0-2 pitch. And the Astros were able to tie the game in the bottom of the 9th inning, and they lost in the 11th. But Valverde in 1 inning last night allowed 2 hits and 2 runs. Here's Ricky Weeks, 1 for 3 with a walk. Ball 1. Weeks was at the plate when Kendall was thrown out trying to steal to end the top of the 8th inning. Valverde has retired the first batter in 4 of his 7 appearances. He is 1 for 3 in saves. And he's behind 2-0.
Ricky Weeks should get a fastball to hit here if they turn him loose.
He takes it 2-1. And Valverde tried a split finger pitch last night. It was up. He had a good one against the Dodgers when he got his first save on Tuesday in that 8-5 win. And he needed it. He had the bases loaded and 1 out, and struck out James Loney and Russell Martin. Two and 2. Ricky Weeks 0 for 7 in his career against Valverde. Brewers won it 9-8 last night and 5-2 Friday night. There's a split and it misses. It's 3-2 now.
Here comes 96 miles an hour. You see if Weeks can catch up to it.
He fouled it with Counsell on deck and Brando up third. The Astros have lost 2 games in which they led after 8 innings this year. Their bullpen has 3 saves and 8 save opportunities. They've been holding on to this 1-run lead with Wright, Sampson, Brocale, and Hawkins preceding Valverde to the mound. Another foul ball keeps it at a full count on Weeks. With San Francisco 1, Arizona 1, they played 4 in the desert. Mark Reynolds hit number 5. Tom Garland pitching for Arizona today. Ball 4, and Weeks has the leadoff walk here in the 9th inning.
Yeah, what happens is the guy gets a pretty good swing at a couple of fastballs, and you try to overthrow the next one. You're almost better off throwing an off-speed pitch there.
Astros Live coming up after the game. There they are, Bart Ennis and Steve Sparks out in the Landry's Crawford boxes, getting ready for the show, which will include a Cecil Cooper press conference, a recap of the homestand, a preview of the Cincinnati Ball Club. Greg Counsell 1 for 4. Double play depth on the infield. Bunting. Valverde crossing to Keppinger. Sacrifice, 1 out.
Kind of scary.
Yeah, it was.
And footing a little off there for Jose as he got ready to make that throw back on his heels. He just gooses this ball over. And Brewers content to play for a run here to try to tie this ball game.
His right leg looks a little wobbly, maybe from the calf injury. But yeah, his footing doesn't look all that good. Now he's bending over, as he frequently does, but it looks like he's testing that right leg, JD.
Yeah, whether it's the calf or, he got whacked in the foot with the comebacker, and then he twisted the calf or strained the calf going to retrieve that ball the other night. So he may have a little bit of both of those issues affecting him still.
Flexing as he gets up and prepares to face Braun. Braun 0 for 3 with a walk. O'Kale got him in the 7th after a walk and a single, and the Brewers looking good.
And Braun becomes the key guy here, and that's why I guess you can't argue with the sacrifice bunt there in the 9th inning down a run, but if he gets Braun, that allows him to walk Fielder and go after Cameron, or at least not give in to Fielder. And he's got the leeway too with Braun with the base open where he doesn't have to give in. And 2 dangerous hitters, Braun and Fielder, so pick your poison.
Braun looks at ball 2. Cubs beat St. Louis 10-3. Big day for Kosuke Fukudome with 5 runs batted in on his 32nd birthday. Rich Harden struck out 9 in 6 innings to go to 2-1 for the Cubs. Todd Wellemeyer, the loser, 1-2 for the Cardinals. Braun has excelled in these situations. It's 2-1. That one took off at 95 miles per hour.
We've seen Braun take some fastballs in hitters counts in this series. That time he was turning it loose on 2-0. Pitches a little bit out of the zone up. And I think if I'm Ken Maka, I'd rather see that approach there. A guy like Braun, 2-0, 3-1, I want him looking to do some damage.
Strike on the split. It's 2-2. Now looking back at Chris Tiller after that call.
Not mad at him, more like he's disappointed in him.
Yeah.
You're better than that.
Valverde with 44 saves last year, 47 the year before, the league leader each of the last 2 seasons. Right 3. Now he's really disappointed.
Nothing mad now.
2 outs. Seven strikeouts for the Astros pitchers.
Back-to-back splitters, and so important for him to be able to throw that pitch in the strike zone. Not all the time, and not even often, just enough so the hitters have to consider that pitch. They can't just spit on it and look for the fastball. And Lance calling this meeting at the mound. Wants to make sure everybody's on the same page whether to go after Fielder here and how aggressively to go after him. 2 home runs last night, including that one on a high heater.
Now Valverde has a choice of not facing Fielder, but facing Cameron with runners at first and second and 2 outs.
It would be unconventional to put the go-ahead run on base with an intentional walk, but it would not be without merit. You could understand Coop if he did it.
Ball 1. Steelers walked 13 times this year. The Astros might just try to get him to chase something and not give him anything good to hit. Let him take a walk if he wants to do that. Toronto and Roy Halladay beat the White Sox 4-3. Halladay is 4-1. Scott Linebrink was the loser, and Scott Downs got his second save. Valverde walks behind the mound. Valverde really was strapped to get that save Tuesday with that comebacker off his leg. Bases loaded, 1-out situation. Now he has a potential tying run at second with 2 outs. And the split tempts fielder, but he checks the swing. 2-0.
And now, do they just go ahead and put him on?
Probably a good idea. Pudge gets down and calls the pitch. Cameron on deck has a pair of doubles. 2-1. Detroit and Armando Galarraga beat Kansas City 3-2. Sidney Ponson the loser. Fernando Rodney got his 4th save, and Brandon Inge hit his 7th home run. Chop to first base. They got him to go for one. And Bullpen beats him to the bag for the final out. Very unusual game as 5 Astros relievers come in to combine on protecting a 1-run lead from the 4th inning on. And Valverde picks up his 2nd save. See how he's walking after this.
He stayed with the split.